Chapter 1045. Jiang Nalin's cultivation level was slightly lower than Jiang Xinyue's. He attacked Jiang Xinyue, but he didn't expect Jiang Xinyue to have comprehended the principle of positive and negative as one. In other words, his attack would be directed at him instead. If he wanted to kill, he would kill himself instead. The two forces of positive and negative complemented each other. Once one's cultivation level was strong in one aspect, he would be able to completely suppress the other. Jiang Xinyue's injuries recovered instantly. Many compound eyes appeared on her forehead. These compound eyes also had pupils, and in the depths of each pupil was the shadow of an overlord. These overlords were the ones sealed in the depths of the door of infinity. At this moment, she seemed to have sealed thousands of ancient overlords with her eyes. She was the door of infinity, and the door of infinity was her. Jiang Nalin, do you feel the energy in your body constantly flowing away? The compound eyes on Jiang Xinyue's forehead had already covered Jiang Nalin. Jiang Nalin's body trembled, and he immediately couldn't move. It was as if all the energy in his body had been sucked away. As expected, the vital qi in his body was extracted and injected into Jiang Xinyue's body. You! Jiang Nalin said in horror, what is going on? I don't believe it. I believe it. How can my cultivation level be lower than yours? I am also the reincarnation of the power in the door of infinity. We are evenly matched, and my calculations are even more profound than yours. How can you win? Because I'm more stubborn than you, purer than you. I live for revenge, and nothing can shake my determination. You, on the other hand, have complicated thoughts and too many schemes. You always want to take care of everything. Don't you know that even a wise man will make a mistake? Also, the positive and negative forces in the depths of the door of infinity have to be combined. Today is the day. Jiang Nalin, from today onwards you will disappear for eternity. You will never exist again. I will help you with what you want to do. Give up all resistance and fuse into my body. At this moment, Jiang Xinyue's face was devoid of any emotion. An endless vortex appeared in the center of her eyebrows and sped up the absorption of Jiang Nalin. Jiang Nalin was completely frozen in place. He was furious, but there was nothing he could do. He was no match for Jiang Xinyue now. The difference of a single step was like the difference between heaven and earth. No. Jiang Nalin suddenly launched a counterattack. A surge of energy surged out of her body, and she leaped into the air, ramming into Jiang Xinyue. Damn you, bitch! If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have nurtured you on Earth. I was a saint of the Jiang clan, and I even passed on my powers to you to help you improve your cultivation. I even passed on the scriptures of Emperor Chang Xing to you to help you cultivate the 9 great holy embryos. You didn't repay me for that, and now you want to kill me. Do you think you can destroy the order? I've repaid that karma a long time ago. When you tried to kill me just now, why didn't I move? Instead, I let you kill me. That was my way of repaying the karma. Now, not only have I repaid the karma, you still owe me. Jiang Xinyue suddenly spat out a breath of air, and many runes gathered to form an inescapable net, once again trapping Jiang Nalin within it. He was like a huge cocoon hanging in the air, unable to use any of his technique. Rumble! At this moment, a huge hand broke through the sky and grabbed at Jiang Nalin. It was Jiang Li's huge hand. He was fighting with the masked young man, the King of Fate. Although the masked young man was very powerful, he was not in any life-threatening danger. He still had the spare energy to observe the changes. He had already observed the battle between Jiang Xinyue and Jiang Nalin. He had thought that the two of them would continue to fight for a while longer, but he did not expect that Jiang Nalin would be defeated so quickly. Jiang Xinyue's energy was constantly being sucked away by Jiang Xinyue. Jiang Nalin's entire body was trembling, and his energy was constantly being drained away. He was becoming more and more powerless to resist. If this continued, he would be crippled. Although Jiang Li did not care whether he was crippled or not, all of his energy being channeled into Jiang Xinyue's body was detrimental to his plan. Jiang Xinyue's cultivation base had increased greatly. Once he gained full control of the Infinity Door, he would become his greatest enemy. Therefore, he wanted to save Jiang Nalan and bring him back for trial. At the same time, he would strip away Jiang Nalan's energy and send the Infinity Door into the Infinity World. Only then would the Infinity World be truly indestructible and have absolute defense. His huge hand grabbed out limitlessly, and his energy broke through the cocoon, injecting vitality into Jiang Nalan's body. Jiang Nalan's restraints were instantly removed, and she was in high spirits. She continuously threw over 100 million punches, attacking Jiang Xinyue in a frenzy. "It's useless, Jiang Li. Even if you save Jiang Nalan, it's useless. He is destined to be devoured by me. This is the Infinity World, and no one can change this." Jiang Xinyue was very confident, as though everything was under control. She raised her hands up high and suddenly clapped inwards. Creak, creak. With her as the center, the dozens of overlords sealed in the surroundings suddenly exploded. Those exploding overlords turned into gusts of wind, and were injected into her body. Her strength rose steadily, and there was no longer anything that could stop her. Gotcha! Jiang Nalan's attack froze, and her body deflated once more as she spat out a lot of fresh blood. But Jiang Li's huge hand also descended, and with a grab, he had already scooped up Jiang Nalan, and was about to take her away. "You dare to be so impudent in front of me?" At this moment, the masked youth, the King of Fate, made a move against Jiang Li. He transformed into a beam of sword light and slashed through the air. Using his body as a sword, he slashed towards Jiang Li's back, wanting to split Jiang Li apart. Jiang Li turned around, and his 5 fingers mainly clawed, and then twisted his body, using the Infinity God Fist's Infinity Collapse. Space collapsed, and even the sturdy Infinity Door was trembling. Fundamentally speaking, although Jiang Li's own truth hadn't reached a great level yet, he had made up for the Infinity Door's flaws. He was something that surpassed the Infinity Door, and the only thing he was lacking was that final step. Therefore, to Jiang Li, strength really didn't count for much. What was truly powerful was his intrinsic strength. The power of the Infinity Collapse directly destroyed the masked youth, the King of Fate's sword light, and even counterattacked, forcing him to retreat. "Jiang Xinyue, you've absorbed quite a bit of Jiang Nalan's power, and that's enough. If you absorb all of his power, you'll be able to gain full control of the Infinity Door, and that won't be a good thing. Blessings can't be enjoyed to the fullest, and power can't be used up," Jiang Li said. "I'll take him away now and bring him back to the Infinity World." Jiang Li's body turned into a heavenly waterfall that descended from the sky, and with an unparalleled aura, he destroyed Jiang Xinyue's power. He grabbed Jiang Nalan and was about to leave the Infinity Door and return to the Infinity World. Dream on. Jiang Xinyue's power had increased tremendously, and she had already absorbed a third of Jiang Nalan's power. The combination of the two powers in her body wasn't as simple as 1 + 1 = 2, but rather 1,000-fold increase. She could even sense that the Infinity Door was like her second primordial divinity, and that it was obeying her command. However, there was still a stubborn will hidden within, controlling the very foundation of the Infinity Door. She knew that this stubborn will was Jiang Li's will, and that only by obtaining all of Jiang Nalan's power would she be able to expel Jiang Li's will. Only then would the Infinity Door truly become hers. "Jiang Li, the Infinity Door is mine. You're just a thief who stole the Infinity Door. You're not the rightful heir, so how are you going to fight me?" Jiang Xinyue let out a long howl, and the winds and clouds surged. One by one, the overlords in the surroundings exploded, and they gathered in her power again. The Infinity Door seemed to be swallowing and exhaling along with her breathing, and every single move she made contained immense power. In fact, she was even more powerful than chaos. Millions of thin threads appeared on her body, and they suddenly flew out, passing through all the barriers of time and space to reach Jiang Li's side, and then they pierced into Jiang Nalan's body. Jiang Nalan let out a shrill scream. The power in his body was sucked away again. King of Fate, save me, save me. I'm willing to give all my power to you. You mustn't let me fall into the hands of Jiang Xinyue and Jiang Li. I can't accept this, I can't accept this. I, Jiang Nalan, have dominated my entire life. How can I die like this when I'm at my peak? Jiang Nalan was indeed unwilling to accept this. When he was very young on Earth, he was already one of the best. He became a saint at a very young age, and he could be said to be the youngest saint in history. After that, he was always high and mighty, and he developed the mentality of a ruler. Later on, although he was suppressed by Jiang Li, he lived a good life, and was valued everywhere he went. Not long ago, he suddenly found out that he was actually the reincarnation of a counterforce from the Infinity Door, and he truly set foot on the peak. But how many days had it been? He was about to die. Could it be that when things reached an extreme, they would move in the opposite direction? He was unwilling to accept this, but he had no other choice. He could only rely on the masked young man, the King of Fate, as his last hope. He also knew that even if the masked young man, the King of Fate, would definitely kill him, but it was still better than falling into the hands of Jiang Xinyue and Jiang Li. If he fell into the hands of Jiang Xinyue, he would be completely absorbed. If he fell into the hands of Jiang Li, it would be even worse. He would only die after being humiliated. Alright, just based on what you said, we've already established karma. Give me your power. This is a contract of fate. To others, this is just empty words, but to me, it's the most important promise. Fate has been decided, and it can't be changed. Give me your power. The masked young man, the King of Fate, laughed heartily. With just one sentence from Jiang Nalan, he knew that she wanted all of her power to belong to him. This was fate. A word of fate, and there was no joking. Rumble. He didn't get entangled with Jiang Li, and he just grabbed. Suddenly, the power in Jiang Nalan's body started to surge, and all of it surged toward his palm. Even the power that Jiang Xinyue had absorbed just now also surged toward him. Jiang Nalan said that she would give him her power, which was equivalent to signing a contract that couldn't be retracted. He was the King of Fate, so he could naturally seize this opportunity to make a fuss and gain the upper hand. Chapter 1046. Some words could not be said carelessly. Once they were said, they had to be returned. Jiang Nalan had not realized this yet. He had hoped that the masked young man, the Fate King, would be his savior. He had casually promised him, and waited for the masked young man to save him. Then, he would unleash his ultimate technique and use the Infinity Gate to suppress the Fate King. He would seize his power and regain his original self. Jiang Nalan had always treated oaths as farts. It was normal for him to go back on his word and go back on his word. What he had just promised could be overturned immediately because there was no one in this world who could restrain him anymore. Unfortunately, the other party was the Fate King. He controlled all fate and fortuitous encounters. As long as he casually agreed, it would be seen as signing a contract with fate. Under the influence of his qi, he would have to agree even if he did not want to. Once the contract was signed, it was already set in stone. How could he go back on his word? Therefore, a large amount of energy in Jiang Nalan's body was lost. He was filled with regret, but he no longer had a chance. He could only struggle bitterly. Damn it, the Fate King is so powerful. Under the influence of his qi, he can seize my power completely. What should I do? What should I do? Although Jiang Nalan was usually resourceful and scheming, he still felt hopeless at this moment. However, a strong hatred surged in his heart. I hate you. Jiang Li, Jiang Xinyue, the Fate King. You must die. All of you must die. At this moment, close to 2/3 of the energy in Jiang Nalin's body had been lost. Jiang Xinyue had seized 1/3, and the Fate King had also seized 1/3. Very good. Jiang Li had also expected this change. From the moment Jiang Nalin spoke without thinking, he knew that this person was finished. Making a promise in front of the Fate King and trying to play tricks? That was simply courting death. Once the fate of a verbal promise was grasped, there would be no more chances. However, he would not watch as the power in Jiang Nalin's body was seized by others. This power was extremely important to all the living beings in the infinite world. Infinite godly fist, infinite redemption. A halo suddenly appeared behind Jiang Li. His hands formed a complicated seal as the infinite power in his body boiled. This power fused with the Infinity Gate and gave birth to a new transformation. The origin of the Infinity Gate seemed to sense Jiang Li's power as well. It was cheering and jumping in joy like a child that saw its favorite toy and would not let go of it no matter what. The Infinity Door. They all want to steal your power and inherit it. But I'm different. I want to improve your power. You have your own will, but it's not the will of a human. It's a judgment of what's good and what's bad. It's a judgment of your own existence. I trust that you understand everything I'm doing. Jiang Li's will seeped into the Infinity Gate. In an instant, he resonated with the Infinity Gate. He was right. Whether it was the masked young man, the King of Fate, Jiang Xinyue, or even Yuanshi and the mysterious castle, all of them wanted to steal and collect the Infinity Gate. He was the only one who truly wanted to elevate the Infinity Gate. He was the only one who would study the Infinity Gate diligently, gather the wisdom of all living beings, and evolve a more profound Tao of infinity. If the Infinity Gate could determine what was good and what was bad, it would definitely choose him. As expected, the moment his will seeped into the Infinity Gate, a majestic power surged out from the depths of the Infinity Gate and directly blessed him. Although this power was very short and intermittent, it was indeed the Infinity Gate's original intention. Instinctively speaking, the limitless gate had acknowledged Jiang Li. This was real, there was no way it could be fake. This was because Jiang Li's ideals, Jiang Li's cultivation, and Jiang Li's infinity world were all things that could truly elevate the Infinity Gate. However, a part of the Infinity Gate's power was still tied to Jiang Xinyue, Jiang Nalin, and the King of Fate. The shackles had not been broken. Therefore, the power was intermittent. Moreover, the Infinity Gate had been damaged before, so naturally, it could not give Jiang Li more divine power. However, the amount of divine power before him was enough. Jiang Li did not make a sound. He merely waved his hand. Crackle! All the pressure on Jiang Nalin was lifted, and she was truly in his hands. Then, he turned around, stepped out of the Infinity Gate, and disappeared. He had captured Jiang Nalin, who still had 1/3 of his power left. The next step was to extract his power and bring him back for trial. Jiang Nalin represented negative power. If he could work together with Jiang Xinyue, it would truly be unfathomably mysterious. Unfortunately, he had lost all his chances. His power had been divided into 3 parts. One of them was in the hands of the masked young man, the other was in the hands of Jiang Xinyue, and the last one was in the hands of Jiang Li. Damn it! Seeing that Jiang Li had escaped, the masked young man, the King of Fate, cursed. Faced with Jiang Li's cultivation, there was actually nothing he could do. All he could do was watch him escape. Jiang Xinyue, on the other hand, was expressionless. She seemed to have entered some kind of supreme realm. Jiang Xinyue, you seem to have gained a lot this time. The masked young man, the King of Fate, said. There was a tinge of jealousy in his tone. Although he had obtained 1/3 of Jiang Nalin's power, which meant that he had obtained a part of the control of the Infinity Gate, it was still far from being comparable to Jiang Xinyue. Jiang Xinyue originally had half of the control. After obtaining 1/3 of Jiang Nalin's power, they fused together and gained absolute control. Right now, the interior of the Infinity Gate was Jiang Xinyue's territory. In the depths of the gate, Jiang Xinyue was immortal. It's just SOSO. If you can give me 1/3 of the control, I will truly be one step away from mastering the Infinity Gate. I wonder if you will give it to me? Actually, it's useless for you to keep it with you. You won't be able to control the Infinity Gate. Why don't you give it to me? We can make an exchange. Jiang Xinyue opened her eyes. Her cultivation was deep and unfathomable. She seemed to have seen through the origins of the King of Fate. The masked young man, the King of Fate, was secretly shocked. Right now, he was unable to grasp Jiang Xinyue's cultivation. It seemed as though Jiang Xinyue was invincible in the depths of the Infinity Gate. Boom! He formed various seals with both hands. They were actually infinity mantras. However, they were dim and lusterless. He was unable to activate any of the yuan qi within them. Finally, he stopped. He knew that he was not fated with the Infinity Gate. It's useless. Jiang Li can activate the Infinity Gate because he has indeed sublimated it to a higher level. Even I can't expel him. He has obtained the core of the Infinity Gate, the yearning and praise. Jiang Xinyue said, the only way to sever the Infinity Gate's thoughts is to kill him. However, I do have an idea. I don't want him to die so quickly. I'll wait until he has truly discovered the method to transcend the Infinity Gate. Then, I'll control the Infinity Gate and kill him. When that time comes, my strength will reach the pinnacle. I'll be able to cultivate a supreme righteous fruit and a supreme divine will. You want to borrow the power of Jiang Li? Let me tell you, this idea is very dangerous. Let's not talk about how difficult it is to deal with him when he is only at the minor climate realm. When he reaches the major climate realm, I'm afraid that even you and I together won't be a match for him. The masked young man, the King of Fate, said. It doesn't matter. We don't have a good way to kill him right now. Jiang Xinyue said, do you have a foolproof plan? I can't kill Jiang Li either. He's already at the level of lifeless and indestructible. He doesn't exist, but he's not non-existent either. It'll be extremely difficult to kill him, the King of Fate said. Even if you control the Infinity Gate, you won't be able to kill him. However, no matter how strong he is, there will always be something in this world that can completely destroy him. What is it? Jiang Xinyue asked. That is the essence of the prison, the King of Fate said. We're currently in a huge prison. No one can see what the outside world is like. Perhaps there isn't a world, and we'll have to open it ourselves. Perhaps we'll all die once we leave the prison. However, there isn't even the slightest bit of energy in the prison. As time passes, we'll eventually turn into dust. That's why we have to break out of the prison. You're saying that we'll activate the essence of the prison to kill him with a borrowed knife? Jiang Xinyue asked. How do we activate the essence of the prison? It's a long story. Perhaps you don't understand the essence of this prison very well, the King of Fate said. However, as you understand infinity more and more, you'll understand. It seems that I'll have to discuss some conditions with you. Let me tell you, infinity is the only way to escape from the prison. This gate is a loophole of the prison, or rather, it's the gate of the prison. Is that so? I'd like to talk to you more and improve my cultivation. Jiang Xinyue knew that the King of Fate was mysterious and unfathomable, so she naturally wanted to get a lot of information out of him. At this moment, Jiang Li had already brought Jiang Nalan into the infinity world. Bang! On the altar in the center, he casually threw Jiang Nalan onto the altar. Then, the infinity mantra condensed into a rope and tied him up. The totem pillar slowly rose up, and Jiang Nalan was hung on it. Swoosh, 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 the higher-ups were all here. Hong Heiyu, Luo Feng, Dream Kite, Hua Lu Dao, and even many old people on Earth were already in the management of the infinity world. When they saw Jiang Nalan hanging on the pillar, they were all filled with emotion. Brother Nalan, why do you have to go against us? Back then, we were all saints of the human race, and you were even the #1 expert, an outstanding figure. You also did many things to clear the obstacles for the human race. Why did your temperament suddenly change, and you want to exterminate the human race? Hua Ludao was a senior human saint. Back then, he and Jiang Nailan were on par, and it could be said that they were the highest existences of the human race on Earth. He knew best what kind of situation Jiang Nailan was in at that time. Hua Ludao, things have changed with the passage of time. Today, I've fallen into the hands of this little bastard. You can refine me however you want. Jiang Nailan put on a posture of a dead pig not afraid of boiling water. Chapter 1047. Jiang Nailan, why do you have to do this? You're focused on fighting against Jiang Li and destroying humanity, but you didn't expect to be captured and put on trial. Your fate will be very miserable. Of course, you won't die, but you'll suffer a fate worse than death. Hua Ludao sighed again. In that case, you're still a person with great luck, and there are many things about you that can be used. Why don't you sincerely admit your mistakes, and then make various contributions? That way, you'll be able to protect yourself. At most, after suffering in the depths of hell for billions of years, you'll become a bird, beast, insect, fish, and other animals. Then, you'll be reincarnated for 10,000 lifetimes, and you'll be able to cultivate. It's better than this. Jiang Nailan's sins were grave. If he were to be put on trial, his soul and body would be destroyed. Under normal circumstances, he would be sent to hell. Every day, he would be subjected to fire, ice, knives, saws, needles, boiling oil, all sorts of tortures. If this continued for billions of years, he would become a beast and be reincarnated for 10,000 lifetimes. Only then would he become a normal person. Basically, there would be no future for him. Hua Ludao, the winner takes all, and the loser takes all. There's nothing more to say. The hatred in Jiang Nailan's heart turned into a black aura that soared into the sky. Above his head, ghostly wails and howls could be heard, faintly forming the most tragic picture of black blood. However, don't even think about putting me on trial. I have a way to destroy you all at any time. Jiang Li, I know you want the remaining 1/3 of the negative power in me, but that's impossible. I can't escape from your clutches, but you can't take my power away either, because I can give this power to Jiang Xinyue. You can't stop me. You probably don't want Jiang Xinyue to completely obtain this power, right? Jiang Nailan, you're really clinging to the last straw. You know that struggling is useless, but you're still threatening me. Jiang Li laughed involuntarily. Do you really think you can pass your power to Jiang Xinyue? Why don't you give it a try? Jiang Li, don't force me. This is not good for you. Jiang Nailan was hung in the air. It was humiliating, but at this moment, he seemed to have something to rely on. Think about it, if I give my power to Jiang Xinyue, she will control the Infinity Gate. When that happens, the control you left behind in the Infinity Gate will be taken away. All your plans will be for naught, and all your hard work will be for naught. Are you willing to accept that? Of course I'm unwilling. The situation is in my hands. Jiang Li took a step forward and looked at Jiang Nailan, who was hung up. Now I'm going to extract the power from your body and see how you're going to pass this power to Jiang Xinyue. I know that your power is one positive and the other negative, and it can transcend time and space. No restrictive spell can stop the two of you from transferring your power to each other. As long as you're determined to give it to her, no one can stop you. But after you give it to her, what about yourself? Are you going to let me do whatever I want to you? Your life and death are in my hands. Your last protective talisman is gone. I don't care. Jiang Nailan knew that the 1/3 of the Infinity Gate's power was his last protective talisman. If he lost it, he would be at the mercy of others. Now, he wanted to use that 1/3 of his power to deal with Jiang Li, in hopes of redemption. Why don't we make a deal, Jiang Li? I'll give 1/3 of my power to the Infinity River, and that'll be a big contribution. How about you forgive me and let me go? From now on, I don't owe the infinity world anything. Dream on. Hong Heiyu let out a shrill laugh. Jiang Nailan, don't even think about getting lucky. Now that you've fallen into our hands, there's only one possible outcome for you. You'll go to hell and endure billions of years of torment and reincarnation. You won't be able to live, and you won't be able to die. Once your sins are gone, you'll have a chance to be reincarnated and become an ordinary person. If you want to become someone important, you'll have to go through endless humiliation, torture, and heartbreak to accumulate good karma. That's the only way for you to be reincarnated. Your sins are too deep. Even I don't know how to undo them. Damn it! You're clearly not going to let me go. By this point, Jiang Nailan was in a state of complete despair. Don't think too much about it, Luo Feng said. Just accept whatever the infinity world has in store for you. No, it's not what the infinity world has in store for him. Jiang Li stretched out his hand, extending and extending. Finally, he grabbed Jiang Nailan's hair and pulled hard. Jiang Nailan let out a furious roar. Jiang Li, I curse you. I curse you to never be able to transcend. Your infinity world will definitely fall. In the last years, everyone will be in chaos. They will kill each other, devour each other, and speculate about each other. In the end, it will become an infinity prison. Jiang Nailan's curse came out from her body. Immediately, black clouds gathered and dispersed in all directions. Woo woo woo, the dark clouds carried with them a curse so strong that it couldn't be dispelled. It permeated every space and time in the infinity world, every continent, every corner. As long as someone was tainted by this curse, no matter how high their cultivation base was, their mind would be confused, and they would kill each other. The distortion of human nature and evil deeds would reach the pinnacle. Jiang Nailan's curse was unexpectedly powerful to such an extent. Humph! Jiang Li laughed coldly. He grabbed the dark clouds once more and an even more intense light surged out from his body. Infinite liberation. He displayed the essence of the infinity God fist. No matter how deep one's karma was, one could be freed one by one. He could cultivate to the highest realm and be free. When the dark clouds came into contact with the light, they actually couldn't spread out. They were all suppressed and turned into many black snakes that swam within the light. Those black snakes were violent and vicious. They bit with their heads and their ferocious looks caused one to shiver. Everyone's expression changed. Hong Heiyu said coldly, "How vicious! How much hatred does Jiang Nailan have? Why would such a vicious curse be born? Luckily you suppressed it. If not, if it spread out, the hearts of the people in the infinity world would be in chaos. They would return to an era where people had no way to live and people were vicious. At the end of the day, the people in the infinity world haven't cultivated to the supreme realm. Their hearts will be tainted. If everyone is like the true meaning of infinity, vast and complete, boundless and able to accommodate all emotions, then they won't be tainted by any vicious curses." Jiang Li sighed and said, "My life's goal is for all living beings to reach this realm. That way, when they are connected and work together, we won't need any energy at all. We will break through the prison and everyone will enter an inconceivable realm." Jiang Li, this is just a small trick. You can't suppress these curses. Jiang Nailan let out an ear-piercing voice. These curses will explode sooner or later. This is supreme karma. Karma can't be removed. That's right. This is karma. As the saying goes, nothing can be taken away. Only karma carries with you. This is your karma. It's a pity that they won't accept your karma. They have to return it to their own bodies. Jiang Li looked at this karma and sighed. Jiang Nailan, your sins are already deep enough, and now you're beyond redemption. Sigh, I can't help you anymore. In fact, what you think is a life-saving straw isn't worth a single coin in my eyes. I really can strip you of your strength at any time. Speaking up to here, Jiang Li's body trembled. between the heavens and earth, the surging zero chi gathered and surged forth, wrapping around Jiang Nalin's body. It also turned into small snakes that drilled into his body. Suddenly, he let out a mournful scream. No. Jiang Nalin seemed to have experienced the most painful thing in the world. She couldn't do anything to Jiang Li's small green snake. She felt a large amount of power draining from her body. Jiang Li, I'll fight it out with you. I'll take you down with me. I'll give my power to Jiang Xinyue and let her kill you. As he spoke, a wave of power burst out of his body. However, Jiang Li waved his hand again. The small black snakes that were sealed in his hand descended and swallowed all the power. What's going on? Jiang Nalin seemed to have lost all her power. Why? Why can my karma devour my power? Unlimited power isn't restricted by any restrictive spells or space-time barriers. Because your karma has been bestowed on all living beings. With a single thought, karma is created. Jiang Li said, what you owe to all living beings, you have to repay it with unlimited power. It's very fair and reasonable. No. Jiang Nalin said, I've already promised to give this power to the King of Fate. Your promise to the King of Fate was that he saved you, so the power belonged to him. Unfortunately, he couldn't save you in the end. You're right. Nothing can stand in the way of infinite power. You're the one who left it in the infinite world. You've done karma to all living beings. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to collect this power. Jiang Li said, now, your power belongs to all living beings, so I'll return your karma to you. The small black snakes spat out one pearl after another. The pearls were green and deep, and each of them represented the infinite world. These pearls suddenly shot out and merged with the essence of the infinite world. The infinite river suddenly trembled, and then expanded to an unimaginable size. Rumble! The infinite river had no head or tail. It formed a ring, and it seemed to have no beginning and no end. Rumble! Countless runes appeared between heaven and earth, and they formed a door. The infinite door. The projection of the infinite door appeared in the infinite world. It was as if all living beings in the infinite world could enter the infinite door through the projection. Oh no! Jiang Xinyue looked at the masked young man in the Infinity Gate and said, Jiang Li controls some of the most important parts of the Infinity Gate. He's obtained 1/3 of Jiang Nalin's power. Things are going to get troublesome. The masked young man, the King of Fate, said, I thought I could use my own cultivation to save Jiang Nalin and obtain his power. But I didn't expect him to be so stupid. He brought about his own destruction by unleashing a curse on all living beings. In the end, Jiang Li took advantage of the opportunity and returned karma with karma. Chapter 1048. Karma had to be repaid. Even Jiang Li was no exception. If one day he could surpass karma, then he would truly surpass the basic rules of the prison. Great freedom, great transcendence, great regret. No one could compare to him since ancient times. However, Jiang Li's karma was the heaviest because he carried the hopes of all living beings. On the contrary, Chaos and the other overlords had the least karma because Chaos was constantly creating and destroying life. It allowed the karma of all living beings to dissipate along with itself. Therefore, Jiang Li's current strength wasn't released and was inferior to Chaos. However, his cultivation required him to comprehend the supreme principles and turn karma into motivation. Karma was the most terrifying thing in the world. No matter how strong an existence was, they had to care about the existence of karma. They weren't willing to be tainted by karma. Karma was something that couldn't be removed. Even after thousands of tribulations, it would still be carried along with you. Even if you lost your memories, karma would still be attached to the essence of your soul and couldn't be removed. As the saying went, nothing could be taken away. Only karma would be with you. However, Jiang Li's cultivation got deeper and deeper. From the essence of this prison, karma, he observed the deepest things. Although karma was terrifying, it was something that surpassed energy. The entire prison was filled with karmic implications. Karma had nothing to do with energy. However, karma was also a type of motivation. If one could convert karma into energy, then that would be true transcendence and invincibility. Think about it, if an almighty being who controlled the world ate a meal from a mortal, then he would have to return it with the entire world in the future. Therefore, karma wasn't about energy equivalence or equivalent exchange. Jiang Li grasped this key point. As long as he comprehended the supreme Tao and converted karma into energy, he would be able to do whatever he wanted and make all sorts of impossible things possible. Jiang Nalan, you've already lost all of your strength, and your life-saving straw has sunk to the bottom of the lake. What should you choose now? Jiang Li looked at Jiang Nalan, whose flames of arrogance had already been extinguished, and smiled wholeheartedly. Jiang Li, you're amazing. I admit defeat, I completely admit defeat. Now I just hope that you can let me go. After all, I'm no longer a threat to you. Jiang Nalan began to beg for mercy. You have to bear the consequences of your own actions. No one can save you. Jiang Li waved his hand. Originally, I was only going to put you on trial and imprison you. But since you've cursed all living beings will reflect your karma back. It's not that I don't want to let you go, it's that you don't want to let yourself go. As the saying goes, you can do whatever the heavens want, but you can't live with the evils you brought upon yourself. Jiang Li, I actually want to tell you something. You can't kill me. Even if you kill me, I will be resurrected and reborn. Moreover, I will be stronger than before. Do you know why? Jiang Nalan roared. Jiang Li, your final outcome is death. Your limitless empire is nothing but an illusion. It's not worth mentioning at all. Do you understand? I know that there is something special about your body. It is the brand of the entire prison, isn't it? Isn't that right? Jiang Li seemed to be able to foresee many subsequent changes. It was the power of the prison itself. Jiang Li, you even know this? Jiang Nalan was shocked, but then she laughed maniacally. You are an obstacle to the development of the prison. You are the bane and enemy of the prison. The prison will not let you go. Your friends will become enemies to attack you. For example, Wang Chao and Ba Liming. One day in the future, you will become enemies with them. And I have great luck. This way, the prison will not let me die. As long as I obtain the power of the prison, I will never die. I never wanted to kill you. Jiang Li had predicted all of this. Your karma will cause you to struggle in the depths of hell for all eternity. Every time you reincarnate, your family will be destroyed. Go. Jiang Nalan's image appeared in all space-time, and a trial was held. Everyone saw Jiang Nalan being captured and hung up. At the same time, Jiang Nalan's information was transmitted to the depths of everyone's mind. Everyone knew what kind of person Jiang Nalan was. Humiliation, humiliation. Jiang Nalan roared angrily. He was proud and arrogant. How could he endure such a trial? But he had no other choice. He could only accept his fate. If he died, he could be reborn. Unfortunately, Jiang Li did not let him die. Instead, he let him suffer humiliation. That's Jiang Nalan. Back then on Earth, I was an old man and knew that he was a peerless saint. He was high up and insufferably arrogant. The Jiang clan's Sun and Moon group created the essence of the Sun and Moon and controlled the market. He was really famous. It's a pity that he has ended up like this. That's right. Back then, I also came from Earth. I saw the rise and fall of the Sun-Moon Corporation's Jiang family. Jiang Nalan protected us humans at first, but then he went against the grain and wanted to exterminate the human race. This is also his own doing. Back then, I was a partner of the Jiang family. At that time, Saint Jiang Nalan was invincible. I wanted to see him several times, but I couldn't. I couldn't even see the elders of the Jiang family. Now, he is being tried here. Life is really like a game of chess. The past is like smoke. From this, it can be seen that karma is deep. No matter what era it is, it has to be paid. All kinds of opinions were transmitted to Jiang Nalin's heart. This was done on purpose by Jiang Li. He wanted to let Jiang Nalin hear the judgment of the humans on Earth. Many of the humans on Earth were still alive and had become big figures. Many of the higher-ups knew Jiang Nalin. The words of those familiar people could hurt Jiang Nalin's heart and torture him. Jiang Li, you bastard. I can't live under the same sky with you. I curse you to die a horrible death. Jiang Nalin's hatred deepened again. The black resentment on his body gathered again. Yes, I've created many more karma. With a wave of Jiang Li's hand, Jiang Nalin fell into the boundless hell. In the depths of hell, he didn't suffer torture first. Instead, he started reincarnation. The infinite world was incomparably mysterious. In hell, there was the reincarnation path. In the depths of the reincarnation path, there were all kinds of vast world. There were ancient times, modern times, slave societies, feudal societies, magic ages, wild ancient times. The path of reincarnation was like a virtual online game, but in reality, it was a real society made of energy. It was used to punish criminals. If a criminal committed a heinous crime, he would fall into reincarnation and suffer for generations. Immediately, Jiang Nalin started reincarnating in the hell path. In his first life, Jiang Nalin was reincarnated into ancient times. Naturally, all of his memories were sealed, and he was completely an ordinary person. He was born in the family of an ancient general, and for the first 10 years, he lived a life of luxury. But suddenly, one day, his family rebelled, and his entire family was arrested. All the women in his family were sold into brothels, and all the men were killed. Jiang Nalin himself was castrated and became a eunuch. He was tortured day and night, unable to live or die. In the end, he could only die in pain, unable to vent his resentment. After that, it was his second life. He was born in the slums. He watched helplessly as his parents starved to death. His younger sisters were raped. It was the most painful thing in the world. In the end, he endured it and had a fortuitous encounter. He mastered unparalleled martial arts and held his head high. However, at the most glorious moment, he was defeated by the enemy. His wife was taken away and his son was killed. He was hung on a pillar by the enemy and watched by tens of thousands of people. In the end, he died of anger. In his third life, he became the emperor. He worked hard every day to support the country. However, he couldn't do anything. He watched helplessly as the enemy attacked. All the concubines in the harem were taken away. His son was killed. He was even captured by the enemy and cooked in a pot. He was scalded to death. The fourth life was even more miserable. He was a disciple of an immortal cultivation family. He had just lived a good life when that immortal cultivation family was destroyed by demons. His brothers, sisters, and parents were refined into corpse demons. He himself became a drug tester. All day long, he was experimented on by demons with highly toxic drugs. He was neither human nor ghost. In the end, he was destroyed by another immortal cultivation sect. Just like that, he reincarnated again and again. Each life was incomparably miserable. He experienced a lot of pain and torture. He simply couldn't get rid of it. As the saying goes, the sea of bitterness is boundless. Jiang Nalin's resentment was too heavy. Not only did the reincarnation not get rid of his resentment, it instead produced even more resentment. As the number of reincarnations increased, Jiang Nalin's resentment became heavier and heavier. Hong Heiyu was in charge of hell. He was carefully observing. Jiang Li, this reincarnation was originally used to get rid of resentment. But every time Jiang Nalin experienced a miserable reincarnation, his resentment would become even heavier. Look at hell. It's already filled with black gas. I didn't expect this person to be so special. I've never seen such a special person. Even an eternal demon would have their resentment removed by reincarnation. He's different. Jiangli laughed. This is easy to explain. Jiang Nalan is the reincarnation of the negative power of the Infinity Gate. Because of this, I tortured him. In the reincarnation cycle, he lived a life worse than death. This way, his resentment could be infused into the infinity world and turned into a reverse wheel. This would promote the development of the infinity world. When Jiang Nalan is tortured to a certain degree, the true meaning of his resentment will appear. At that time, it can help the infinity world transcend the realm of energy. But won't his resentment contaminate all living beings? Luo Feng asked worriedly. It's still the same thing. This is a training for all living beings. All living beings will definitely be able to withstand it. Jiang Li didn't care. Look, don't you feel that the entire infinity world is becoming more complete? When it revolves, it's incomparably agile. This is the reverse wheel that Jiang Nalan's resentment has transformed into. As expected, underneath the infinity world, a huge pitch-black divine wheel vaguely appeared. This wheel spun unceasingly, controlling the infinity world to float around. It was incomparably agile. Even the energy required for the infinity world to revolve was greatly reduced. Chapter 1049. Jiang Nalan himself was very special. He was a true negative force. Because of this, Jiang Li was able to seize the opportunity to produce more resentment. He became the king of resentment and pushed the growth of the infinite world from the negative side. With the resentment from Jiang Nalan's continuous reincarnation, the infinite world was flexible and ever-changing. The more painful Jiang Nalan was, the more flexible the infinite world became. Jiang Li's original essence of infinity was the great harmony of the world. That kind of concept made the infinite world stable and heavy. Now, with the addition of Jiang Nalan's resentment, it became more agile. This was also the profundity of the infinite world that Jiang Li had comprehended. Moreover, he now had 1/3 of Jiang Nalan's negative force. This meant that he had 1/6 of the control of the Infinity Gate. Jiang Xinyue had the most control, which was equivalent to 4/6. The King of Fate had 1/6, and Jiang Li had 1/6. However, because Jiang Li had obtained the recognition of the Infinity Gate's core, he had gained more freedom and authority. This was something that even Jiang Xinyue could not control. It is indeed amazing. Hong Heiyu also discovered the wonders of the scene. He realized that resentment could be used in this way. Now we can probably dominate the infinite world. Many overlords will be subdued by us. It is not impossible for us to develop to the size of primal chaos. Of course, Jiang Li felt that it was only natural. If we can't even surpass primal chaos, then there is no need for us to continue living. In the future, the infinite world will definitely be bigger than primal chaos. The first step is to subdue many overlords. Apart from that, I still need to enter the Infinity Gate and merge the ancient sealed overlords into the infinite world. This way, the infinite world will be the #1 overlord. After expanding its strength, it will nurture more living beings. In the depths of the door of infinity, there were millions of ancient overlords sealed. These overlords were the most abundant resources. Even the weakest of them had tens of thousands of reincarnations, or even hundreds of thousands of reincarnations. There were overlords with millions of reincarnations, and there were even overlords with tens of millions of reincarnations. If he could fuse all of these overlords into the depths of the boundless world, then Jiang Li's cultivation would surpass primal chaos and the mysterious castle in one fell swoop, becoming #1. With this power, it would be much easier to subdue the other overlords. It would be of great help to transcend. However, it was still difficult to obtain the sealed overlord corpses. This was because this place was under the control of the masked young man and Jiang Xinyue. Of course, the two of them each had their own ulterior motives and could not cooperate with one another. However, if the two of them were to come to an agreement and collude with one another, they would definitely be able to split the corpses of the Overlord. The Overlord corpses were sealed with the Infinity Mantra. There was even a portion of Jiang Li's senses within them. If the masked young man and Jiang Xinyue were to break the seal, they would definitely alert Jiang Li. Moreover, Jiang Li had now obtained a third of Jiang Nalin's power. His control over the door of infinity was further strengthened. No one would be able to do anything without him knowing. However, it was also impossible for him to obtain the Overlord corpses. After all, most of the control was in the hands of Jiang Xinyue. Fortunately, Jiang Li had opened up a new path. Jiang Xinyue could not do whatever she wanted. In the depths of the door of infinity, within the space filled with Overlord corpses, Jiang Xinyue and the masked young man were still negotiating. The two of them were still unable to come to an agreement. Jiang Xinyue, how about we work together to refine all of the Overlord corpses here? The masked young man was also drooling over the Overlord corpses here. Unless the two of us work together and unleash an unparalleled thaumaturgy to remove Jiang Li's control, we won't be able to touch any of these Overlords. Jiang Xinyue said, but to be honest, King of Fate, I don't trust you. You're definitely up to no good as well. You're scheming to seize my power. How is that possible? You're thinking too much. The masked young man laughed. Don't argue. You and I both know that we're only working together on the surface. Right now, we're only working together because of Jiang Li's pressure. Once Jiang Li's threat is gone, you'll definitely try to kill me. I know you too well. You probably don't know this, but ever since I activated my own power and obtained Jiang Nalin's power, my understanding of the Door of Infinity is far beyond anyone else's. I know what you're thinking and what you want to do. Jiang Xinyue laughed. Her eyes seemed to be able to see through the masked young man's thoughts. You're right. The masked young man also knew that he could not hide it from Jiang Xinyue. But isn't Jiang Li still alive? Actually, you and I both know that wanting Jiang Li to die is definitely not a simple matter. Perhaps he will only die at the very last moment. So, our current fighting and mutual suspicions seem to be meaningless, isn't that right? I can work with you, but you might not work with me. You're not sincere. Jiang Xinyue seemed to be looking for an opportunity to benefit from the body of the King of Fate. Then what do I have to do to make you trust me? The masked young man was not angry. He did not want to anger Jiang Xinyue. He just wanted to work with her. It's simple. Give me 1/3 of Jiang Nalin's power and I'll give you half of the Overlord sealed in the depths of the Door of Infinity. How about that? That's very fair. Jiang Xinyue thought of a way to satisfy both sides. Ha 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 ha. The masked young man laughed. Xinyue, you're too stubborn. How can I trust you? This 1/3 of negative power is the key to controlling the Door of Infinity. I can't give it to you. Then there's nothing for us to talk about. Jiang Xinyue waved her hand. The Door of Infinity is mine. I have more than half of its control now, and the door itself belongs to me, not you. You've forcefully taken fate, and you've already incurred serious karma. I'm afraid you'll have to pay for it in the future. Not only that, but you'll also have to pay more. You're the King of Fate. You should know that fate doesn't belong to you. No, this is the power I obtained from Jiang Nalin. He gave it to me, the masked young man said. Now it belongs to me. Is that so? At this moment, a voice rang out. Jiang Li appeared once again. King of Fate, you promised Jiang Nalin that you would save him. Only then did he give you his power. Now you haven't saved him, and he is still reincarnated in my hands. Every day, he is in the deepest level of pain, and it can be said that he is suffering unspeakably. You broke your promise, so the power shouldn't belong to you. On the other hand, I didn't kill Jiang Nalin and left him alive. This power will be mine instead. I've already seen the fate in the void. The power in your body is connected to the power of my infinite world. As long as I activate it, your power will fall into my control. However, I'm also wary of the power of fate in you. I'm afraid that both of us will be injured. Why don't we make a deal? Ha 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 ha. The masked young man laughed. Jiang Li, you want to make a deal with me? Do you know that I'm going to kill you? There's no way we can compromise. That's just wishful thinking on your part. Jiang Li sighed. I won't kill anyone, and I have no enmity with anyone. Look at Jiang Nalan. He's still alive, and he's training in the cycle of reincarnation. As long as he doesn't have any resentment, and is of one heart and one mind, he'll be an infinity person. King of Fate, you're the same. There's a meaning to our existence, and it's not about devouring each other or killing each other. It's about understanding each other and turning karma into the Tao. If you can work with me, I'll be willing to give you the infinity portal. What do you say? Are you telling the truth? The masked young man rose to his feet. He could sense that Jiang Li wasn't lying. In truth, he knew Jiang Li very well. At Jiang Li's level, there was no need to lie. Everything he did was open and aboveboard, without the slightest bit of selfishness. Because of this, he was invulnerable. His Daoan plans couldn't tolerate any form of selfishness or deceit. If it were him, Jiang Xinyue, Primordial Chaos, Yuanshi, or any of the other hegemons, it wouldn't matter. They could lie, deceive, and do anything they wanted. After all, they didn't need to be of one mind with the masses, and naturally didn't need to care about what they thought. You know my situation, so there's no need to explain. Jiang Li didn't bother to explain. I'm negotiating with you because I want to give you the infinity portal. To tell you the truth, without the infinity portal, I'm still infinity. Without me, the infinity portal is no longer infinity. You're all fighting for the infinity portal, but I've surpassed it. That's where I'm stronger than you. Therefore, I don't mind giving you the infinity portal. You're contradicting yourself. Jiang Xinyue's expression was cold and frosty. She knew the severity of the situation. If Jiang Li roped in the King of Fate, she would die a horrible death. Her ending wouldn't be any better than Jiang Nalan's. She thought about it. If she had to suffer the pain of reincarnation day and night like Jiang Nalan, she might as well just die. That way, she would be able to live a peaceful life. What do you mean? Jiang Li knew that Jiang Xinyue's hatred for him was as deep as the ocean, and it couldn't be resolved. Her resentment towards him was even deeper than Jiang Nalan's. However, it was a battle of words, so there was no need to fight. Since you said that you can give the infinity portal to the King of Fate, why do you want the 1/3 of the negative energy in him? Jiang Xinyue grabbed onto Jiang Li's weakness and tried her best to stop the King of Fate from siding with him. It's simple. Jiang Li continued, because if the King of Fate wants to control the infinity portal, he won't be able to do it with his current strength. He has to give me 1/3 of the power and work with me to combine my infinity world and fate. Only then can I sublimate the infinity portal and strip the power from you completely. Chapter 1050. Jiang Li was indeed trying to sow discord between Jiang Xinyue and the King of Fate. However, he was openly trying to sow discord, and everything he said was true. He would not lie. The King of Fate and Jiang Xinyue both knew this. Jiang Li was this kind of person. He would not lie when he made a deal with you. From a certain point of view, he no longer had any emotions. He was the embodiment of rules and will, the guardian of order. The King of Fate fell silent. He was tempted. He had many ideas to obtain the Infinity Gate. Although he wanted to kill Jiang Li and obtain the luck, he knew that it would be very difficult to kill Jiang Li. Unless he cooperated with Jiang Xinyue, he would have a chance. However, the chance was not high. At most, it was 20 to 30%. Moreover, this did not include the scheming with Jiang Xinyue. He felt that Jiang Xinyue would definitely not believe him, and he also had designs on Jiang Xinyue. It was almost impossible for him to cooperate. Under such scheming, he would definitely lose against Jiang Li. Originally, he had placed many chess pieces in the depths of the infinity world, but they were all eliminated. All the fortuitous encounters seemed to have submitted to infinity and not to him. Although he had placed many things in other places, they were just a drop in the bucket. They did not pose a threat to Jiang Li at all. If he agreed to cooperate with Jiang Li, he would really be able to obtain the Infinity Gate. However, he also had his concerns. This was because the condition that Jiang Li had made was definitely not without reason. He would not be a fool. Instead, he would be able to obtain more benefits than the Infinity Gate. The King of Fate did not want to be under anyone, especially Jiang Li. He knew very well that if he joined the Infinity World, cultivated it, and infused his wisdom and spirit into the Infinity River, then Jiang Li's cultivation would probably reach an unimaginable level. By then, he would not be a match for him. However, this was not what the King of Fate wanted. Hence, he was hesitating. King of Fate, you've been tricked by Jiang Li. You must not hesitate or waver in your heart. You have your Tao, and I have mine. Only by working together and making up for each other's weaknesses can we kill him. If you join him, what is the point of obtaining the Infinity Gate? Once you lose yourself, the Infinity Gate is not the strongest. The strongest is your heart. Jiang Xinyue was very calm, but she was also worried that the King of Fate would be roped in. If that happened, she would really die without a grave. She knew very well that Jiang Li's strongest point was not his cultivation, but his open and above-board character. He would always give others a chance to choose. For example, the King of Fate knew that there would be no problem for him to rely on Jiang Li. He would be able to protect himself, and it was precisely because of this that he would always be willing to try his luck. Others might think that Jiang Li was an idiot. But this was the true great Tao of open scheming. It was an undefeatable will and rules. In reality, at Jiang Li's current realm, this was exactly what he had to do. He had to make it clear to everyone that he was invincible, that he could accommodate everything, that he was the embodiment of order, that he could transcend infinity. This sort of domineeringness and confidence was enough to subdue many overlord existences. Even the King of Fate was hesitating. King of Fate, there is no limit to what you can learn. We are all acting in unison, all for the sake of transcendence. If we don't transcend, then we can still fight for it. But right now, when we transcend, all of this is meaningless. Jiang Li spoke neither hurriedly nor slowly. King of Fate, why do you still care about the gains and losses in your heart? Breaking out of this prison is the only option. Jiang Li, your plan is very tempting, but breaking out of this prison might not be a good thing. Moreover, the power of this prison is beyond your imagination. Apart from that, we are people who stand at the peak of this prison. We can live forever. Why should we gamble everything for an illusory idea? The masked young man, the King of Fate, said. Live for all eternity? Jiang Li laughed. King of Fate, are you deceiving yourself? If my senses are correct, this prison will soon change. This prison will change very soon. Without the existence of energy, everyone is like a fish in a dry pond. If we don't jump out quickly into the vast river, we will definitely die of thirst together. You can even sense that. The King of Fate was shocked. He tore off his mask. Behind the mask was the face of a man. His appearance was incomparably ordinary, as if he had merged with all the living beings in the world. He looked like every living being, and the characteristics of every living being could be found on his face. Nobody could remember the face of the King of Fate, but he could remember all the living beings in the world. That was fate, and that was karma. Jiang Li, don't try to scare us. Jiang Xinyue said, the power in the prison is decreasing by the day. That's true, but I know that it's not actually disappearing. It's hidden in the deepest recesses of the prison, waiting for the cycle to erupt. As long as we can find the source of the power, we can undo the seal and restore the world to its peak state. We don't need to destroy the prison. Other than that, there's no other world. The prison is the largest, and if we leave it, we'll all cease to exist. That's how cruel it is. Wang Chao and Ba Liming are also searching for the source of the power. We're all in the same boat. You're an anomaly, and you're going to sink the boat and drag everyone down with you to their death. You even call it transcendence. Let me tell you, if you don't change your Tao, then you're asking for death. Wang Chao and Ba Liming won't let you off. That's the big picture. Oh! When Jiang Li heard Jiang Xinyue's words, a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. You've actually reached such a high level of enlightenment? That's something I didn't expect. Not bad, not bad. Now you're qualified to kill me. I've never seen you as a worthy opponent, because you're no match for me. You're just a child playing around with me, and I can tolerate you. But now I can't tolerate you anymore. I'm sorry, but I'm going to kill you. When Jiang Li said this, he was strangely calm, like a child who had just woken up. Rumble! Before he even finished speaking, his palm was already in front of Jiang Xinyue. Everything crumbled inch by inch under his palm. This was the infinite disintegration of the infinite godly fist. It was a move with immense destructive power. At this moment, Jiang Li gathered all of his strength to attack. His might was limitless, his will was limitless, his spirit was limitless, and his destructive power was limitless. Even the infinity door was affected by his power, and began to restrict its ability to protect Jiang Xinyue. Originally, Jiang Xinyue had 4/6 of control over the infinity door. Within the infinity door, no one could attack her. She was practically invincible, and anyone who wanted her dead would have to die. But Jiang Li had broken through this point, and used the infinite godly fist to suppress the infinity door. It was as though he had transcended the infinity door, and had reached a whole new realm. He could rampage through the infinity door as though it was unstoppable. Jiang Xinyue took a few steps back and stared at Jiang Li's eyes. Her eyes seemed to be burning. Time seemed to have slowed down. She said with a loud voice, "Jiang Li, do you know that? You are blaspheming the infinity door. The infinity door will strip you of everything. You have the infinite godly fist, and so do I. Since that's the case, let me show you what the true infinite godly fist is." She punched out, first with a palm, then with a claw, and then with a fist. Shock, penetrate, kill, entangle, twist, attack, bash, sweep, and strike. All sorts of powers converged together. Infinite blasphemy. She actually unleashed a completely different infinite godly fist than Jiang Li's. Jiang Li's limitless godly fist was extremely profound, and its style transcended everything. It was majestic, incomparably exquisite, and had an eternal life force. Although it was said to be used to destroy the enemy, it also gave the enemy room to regret. That tiny sliver of life force was extremely powerful. It was said that the Tao of heaven was the punishment of heaven. But Jiang Xinyue's infinite godly fist was different. It was ancient, and filled with the dust of history. It was as though it had been slumbering for billions of years. The infinite godly fist was a conservative Tao, while Jiang Li's was a Tao of innovation. One represented returning to the ancient, while the other represented advancing. Would the ancient times be stronger, or would the future be stronger? Would history continue to advance, or would it head towards destruction? In many eras, the ancient times were the strongest. As time passed, their powers would become weaker and weaker. This was also in line with the law. But there were also theories that said that history would continue to advance, and new eras would always replace old eras. Bang! The two powers collided. Jiang Li only felt that the infinite godly fist was retaliating against him. The power of his fist was actually showing signs of dissipating, but he didn't care at all. His entire person seemed to have entered a strange mental state. From the distant infinite world, another wave of power was transmitted over. This wasn't energy, but divine power that was the will of the people. The hearts of all living beings in the world were connected, and they understood each other. The resulting wave of power seemed to be able to penetrate the heavens and earth, and destroy the world. After this wave of power was infused into Jiang Li's body, his fist that was about to dissipate suddenly became more condensed. And the power of Jiang Xinyue's fist actually passed through his body, once again being transmitted to the infinite world, and was absorbed by the infinite world. Originally, Jiang Xinyue's fist was infinite, and because of Jiang Li's concept of the infinite world had already surpassed the infinite door. This was the suppression of the superior. Jiang Li could cause damage to Jiang Xinyue, but Jiang Xinyue couldn't hurt Jiang Li. Just like that, the situation was completely reversed. Kill! Jiang Xinyue roared angrily, and from a woman, she turned into a goddess of war. She pounced over fiercely, and the infinite godly fist bombarded continuously. This time, however, the attack was different. It seemed fierce, but in reality, it was like a bow drawn but not fired. Once it came into contact with the infinite world, it only formed a rotating seal in the center, and it wanted to cut off Jiang Li's connection with the infinite world. Jiang Li, you're too careless. Do you think that you can defeat me just because you absorbed the power of my fist? Actually, I did it on purpose. I purposely let you absorb the power of my fist into the infinite world. You won't be digested at all. Instead, I'll restrain you and seal you, cutting off your connection with the infinite world. And that power of mine will be in the infinite world, stirring up trouble, and occupying your infinite world. I can even awaken Jiang Nalan. Jiang Xinyue's plan had succeeded. Chapter 1051. Jiang Xinyue was no longer the Aman of the past. At first, Jiang Li didn't think much of it, but after listening to her words, he knew that this woman's understanding was profound. She wasn't someone to be trifled with. He had to completely suppress and subdue her in order to prevent any future troubles. Sure enough, this woman did not make a move, but the moment she made a move, it was a grand scheme. She sealed Jiang Li on the spot and then wanted to destroy his infinite world. It could be said that Jiang Li's life of cultivation and ideals were all pinned on the infinite world. As long as the infinite world was gone, his wish of being of one heart and one mind and transcending with all living beings would be for naught. He would not be able to recover from this setback. She knew that it was almost impossible to deal with Jiang Li's main body. Only by taking drastic measures and cutting off his connection with the infinite world could she defeat Jiang Li in one fell swoop. At this moment, a smile appeared on the King of Fate's face. He moved and a strange flower appeared above his head. This strange flower spun and shot out dense lines. These were the strongest lines of fate. They formed a seal and helped Jiang Xinyue strengthen the seal on Jiang Li. Although the King of Fate was persuaded by Jiang Li, he was still thinking carefully. He weighed the pros and cons and calculated the gains and losses. He would not compromise so easily. He was waiting to see the battle between Jiang Xinyue and Jiang Li. Whoever had the upper hand, he would take the opportunity to hit them while they were down. He would even kill both of them completely and enjoy the great fortune and power alone. Now that Jiang Li had obviously fallen into a trap, the King of Fate had an idea. First, he helped Jiang Xinyue kill Jiang Li and seize Jiang Li's essence so that Jiang Xinyue would not get anything. Then, his power would increase greatly and he would turn around to kill Jiang Xinyue as well. He was benefiting from both sides by relying on the overall situation. This was because he knew that no matter what, Jiang Xinyue and Jiang Nalan would not work together to deal with him. Just based on this alone, he could be unbridled and attack at will, fighting and killing each other to obtain benefit. Rumble. He cooperated with Jiang Xinyue to seal the infinite world. Through the distant changes, his thoughts were also added to the infinite world. The infinite world was the lair that Jiang Li had painstakingly cultivated for a long time. It contained countless rich changes. If he could collect and refine it into a magic weapon, or refine the wisdom and essence within it into his own body, his cultivation would rise to a whole new level. Limitless worlds, limitless golden cores, limitless rivers. After going through all sorts of changes from Jiangli, the accumulated foundation was not something that any overlord could compare to. The various hegemons only knew how to devour each other. How could they understand the supreme essence of limitless development, unity of heart and mind, eternal operation, and transcendence? Rumble. Just as Jiangli was sealed, there was an earth-shattering change in the infinite world. At the very center of the boundless world, a green stream of air appeared. This green stream of air instantly turned into Jiang Xinyue's body. At this moment, Jiang Xinyue's cultivation was not what it used to be. When she appeared in the infinite world, she was the embodiment of disaster. Jiang Nalan, come out! She appeared in an instant. Her eyes shot out and turned into a torrential river. She could see through Jiang Nalan, who was being tortured in the eternal cycle of reincarnation, and the third of Jiang Nalan's power in the depths of the infinite world. Mutual attraction. She had all the positive power of the infinity door on her body. This kind of power was fatal to the negative power. Therefore, when she appeared, the boundless positive power began to attract the negative power in the infinite world. Buzz, the negative power began to squirm, about to fly out and land on Jiang Xinyue's body at any moment. Once it fused with Jiang Xinyue, she would dominate the world, and no one would be able to restrain her. It's coming. In the main control center, Luo Feng, Dream Kite, Hong Heiyu, Hua Lu Dao, Dahe, and other hegemon-level existences had also gathered. They seemed to have expected Jiang Xinyue's arrival, and they did not panic at all. In the main control center, a round disk appeared. On the disk were the 12 heavens, the 8 trigrams, the 5 elements, the transformations of yin and yang, the infinity of Tai Chi, the infinite worlds, the 100 million stars, the primordial dust, the primordial era, and the primordial wilderness. This perfect disk contained everything. Golden light flowed within, and there were even divine mantras, Jindan, jade dragons, and beasts. There were even many hegemons within. Jiang Xinyue has come at the right time. We have long predicted that she would come. Everyone, this disk is the karma disk. Everything in the world is made up of karma. This disk contains Jiang Nalan's unparalleled evil karma. Other than that, there is also our infinite world. All living beings and all kinds of evil karma are gathered here. Once you are tainted even the slightest bit, you will be consigned to eternal reincarnation. We will activate this karma disk and kill her in one blow, so that Jiang Xinyue will be tainted with endless evil karma. Hong Heiyu said. Exactly. Jiang Xinyue will not be able to escape justice this time. Dream Kite watched coldly as Jiang Xinyue activated her mystique to destroy the world. She could not help but sneer. She pointed her finger at the karma disk. Everyone opened their mouths and breathed out a stream of air onto the karma disk. The entire karma disk immediately started spinning. It spun and turned into a godly talisman. It broke through time and space and silently imprinted itself onto Jiang Xinyue's body. Ah! Jiang Xinyue did not expect that the infinite world was waiting for her. Just as she was about to activate it, a godly talisman appeared on her body. A disk appeared within the godly talisman. In an instant, she seemed to have fallen into the depths of an endless hell. All kinds of shackles appeared on her body. What is this? Endless karma? All the evil karma and sins are gathered on me? Jiang Xinyue's body shrank and withered, as if she was about to lose all her strength. I didn't expect Jiangli to have such a trump card. She let out a shrill cry. Her body suddenly exploded and disappeared without a trace. Pfft! In the depths of the infinite door, Jiang Xinyue's body shook violently and she spat out a mouthful of blood. It was a sign of her failure. Ha ha! At this time, the masked young man laughed. Jiang Xinyue, do you really think that Jiang Li is that easy to deal with? You're too naive. He's a variable among variables. I don't even want to be his enemy. I just want to provoke the two of you to fight each other. Now I'll devour you and become the strongest overlord. That way I can kill Jiang Li. Rumble! I'll take your life while you're down. The masked young man pounced on Jiang Xinyue and punched her in the heart. He knew that Jiang Xinyue was severely injured and had been beaten to a state worse than death by Jiang Li. This punch of his was the strongest punch. He gathered the essence of fate and punched out the true essence of yin and yang, karma and retribution. This punch could even destroy the chaos. No overlord would be able to block this punch of his. Other than that, he was snatching food from the tiger's mouth. Therefore, he did not hold back at all. No one could stop him. No one knew how to be a mantis stalking a cicada, unaware of the aureole behind. Jiang Li was sealed and could not come out for the time being. Other overlords could not enter the infinite door. The King of Fate was only able to enter the infinite door because he worked together with Jiang Nalan and Jiang Xinyue. Now that he had obtained 1/3 of Jiang Nalan's negative power, he could move freely in the infinite door. Now, it was a piece of cake for him to deal with Jiang Xinyue. Bang! His punch landed heavily on Jiang Xinyue's heart. Initially, he wanted to shatter Jiang Xinyue into pieces. However, to his surprise, his punch landed on a rune. The rune was golden and it was in one of the discs. Not only did it absorb all of his energy, it even coiled around his body. His punch was bounced back without a scratch. It was as if he had punched himself. He spat out a mouthful of blood, and a look of extreme fear appeared on his face. This was because he saw the rune coiling around him. In an instant, it covered his entire body. Jiang Xinyue regained her composure and a cold smile appeared on her face. King of Fate, you've finally fallen for my trap. It's all because of your greed. I knew that Jiang Li would not be easy to deal with. Therefore, I played along and entered his infinite world so that he could add his negative karma to my body. I purposely got injured, knowing that you would take advantage of my weakness to kill me. As expected, I have the infinite transfer technique in the depths of the infinite door. I can transfer this negative karma to you. Suffer the pain and give me 1/3 of your power. Jiang Xinyue did not stop. She grabbed at the King of Fate's body. Waves of energy appeared and entered her body. The King of Fate had absorbed 1/3 of Jiang Nalan's negative power. Now, Jiang Xinyue was taking the opportunity to absorb it back. Not good. The King of Fate was shocked. He knew that the situation was not good. If all his energy was absorbed, he would definitely be buried in the Infinity Gate. Although he was the King of Fate, it was still difficult for him to escape from the Infinity Gate. He immediately flew up and used all sorts of dispelling techniques to suppress himself, but it was too late. Jiang Xinyue had already absorbed a lot of negative power from him and became stronger. Every time she absorbed more, her cultivation would double. If she absorbed all the negative power, she could even expel Jiang Li from the infinite door. The current Jiang Xinyue was indescribably terrifying. Her eyes were deep and dark, as if she could absorb everything. Looking into her eyes, the King of Fate felt like he was about to fall into them. Gotcha! His body shattered and turned into many lines again. He used the power of fate to destroy the transformation and escape from the infinite door. As long as he could get out of the infinite door, he would still be the King of Fate. Jiang Xinyue would not be able to do anything to him. Inside the infinite door, Jiang Xinyue was almost invincible. Jiang Xinyue, you're amazing. I've failed miserably. The King of Fate said, Fine, I'll let you off this time. When I find an opportunity, I'll make sure to kill all of you. Do you think my cultivation is only this low? Let me tell you, this prison has not undergone any more profound transformation. Once it does, my cultivation will be 10 times stronger. Chapter 1052. It was a complete tragedy for the King of Fate. He had been tricked by Jiang Xinyue. 1/3 of the opposing force in his body had been completely lost and injected into Jiang Xinyue's body. Jiang Xinyue's cultivation level had skyrocketed while his cultivation level had plummeted. Under such circumstances, he had almost no ability to resist. Moreover, he was still in the door of infinity and was under all kinds of restrictions. Apart from that, Jiang Xinyue had also transferred the karmic disk that the infinite world had used to attack her to the masked young man. This way, he was almost surrounded by enemies, and his chances of escaping from the door of infinity were slim. Fate King, today, not only do you want to give me 1/3 of your negative power, you also want to fuse all of your fate power into my body. After refining you, I will be the King of Infinity. Together with the Fate King, killing Jiangli, this variable among variables, will be a piece of cake. Jiang Xinyue's eyes were wide open, and there was an unfathomable and supreme mystery in the depths of her brows. She opened her mouth again and inhaled deeply. The vortex expanded greatly, and its power was monstrous. At this moment, she was no longer a weak woman, but one of the strongest overlords. She had control of 5/6 of the door of infinity. The masked young man cried out in pain. All the opposing force in his body was sucked away. Not only that, but his original essence was also being lost in large amount. Countless essences were being absorbed into Jiang Xinyue's body. The essence of the King of Fate was not to be underestimated. He was not human, but a supreme and invincible existence born from fate. The essence in the masked young man's body was gray, but it had a metallic luster. It was in line with the law of fate. In an instant, Jiang Xinyue seemed to have grasped the true essence of fate. She saw the lines of fate coming one after another between heaven and earth. She seemed to have become the new King of Fate. No! The masked young man, the King of Fate, struggled in pain. In just a short period of time, he had lost 1/5 of his cultivation base. Moreover, the rate at which he was losing his cultivation base was getting faster and faster. That was because Jiang Xinyue's power was getting stronger and stronger. With every breath that passed, Jiang Xinyue would be able to inflict devastating damage on him. Struggle, struggle, King of Fate. I know you're scheming against me, but unfortunately, you're one step behind, and now you're the one being schemed against by me. Jiang Xinyue had a cold smile on her face. She was forever in control of the situation. From now on, the King of Fate will truly disappear from this world. I will replace you and become the new King of Fate. Or rather, I will destroy fate and take control of everything. No! Another violent explosion occurred on the King of Fate's body as he attempted to break through the restraints of the Infinity Door and escape. Unfortunately, the Infinity Door was extremely powerful. Jiang Xinyue, who had control of 5/6 of the Infinity Door, could control almost everything in the depths of the Infinity Door. If it wasn't for Jiangli, the variable among variables, who controlled the upgrade rights of the Infinity Door, Jiang Xinyue's power would have been even stronger. She would have been able to turn the world upside down. Buzz, just as the King of Fate was about to be completely destroyed, a hand appeared from the seal. It was the place where Jiangli was sealed. Jiangli had long broken the seal. Jiangli's hand reached out gently and grabbed the neck of the masked young man. Then, the karma disk on his body exploded. Densely packed seals sealed the King of Fate. Jiangli, you weren't sealed by us. You did it on purpose. You were sitting on the mountain and watching the tigers fight. Your ultimate target was me. Oh my God, why did I fall for it again and again? After the King of Fate was sealed, he was almost in despair. He let out a roar and no longer had any thoughts of resisting. This was because he couldn't escape Jiangli's seal at all. Now, he also knew that he had fallen for it. Jiang Li had done it on purpose. He had deliberately allowed himself to be sealed by them and deliberately let Jiang Xinyue go to the infinity world. Once she was tainted by the karma disk, he would definitely attack Jiang Xinyue. This way, Jiang Xinyue would weaken his strength. At the same time, he would make the final move and capture him. Even Jiang Xinyue had fallen for it. Although Jiang Xinyue had obtained 1/3 of the negative force, Jiang Li had obtained the King of Fate. In comparison, Jiang Li had a greater advantage. The negative force in the Infinity Gate wasn't very useful to Jiang Li. This was because the upgrade rights of the Infinity Gate that he had were the most important. As for the Infinity Gate, if Jiang Li could upgrade it, its origin would probably quickly abandon Jiang Xinyue. This was like a small company. Although Jiang Xinyue was the major shareholder, Jiang Li was a huge external capital. Once this capital was injected into the company, Jiang Xinyue's shares would immediately be diluted. In the end, she would become a minor shareholder. Therefore, Jiang Li had captured the King of Fate. As long as he subdued him and became one of them, he would be able to obtain all of his knowledge and power. The Infinity River was almost immortal. In the end, it would become the power that could upgrade the Infinity Gate. At that time, the Infinity Gate would only be controlled by Jiang Li. Jiang Xinyue's plan was to firmly grasp the control of the Infinity Gate. Jiang Li's plan wasn't to snatch the control from Jiang Xinyue. Instead, he directly upgraded the Infinity Gate and changed the system. This way, the Infinity Gate would completely belong to Jiang Li. The two of them had different plans. This led to Jiang Li's inevitable victory. Ha 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 ha. Jiang Li sealed the King of Fate, then let out a hearty laugh. Jiang Xinyue, I admit that your plan was perfect, but you still fell for my trap. I intentionally let you seal the Infinity Gate so that you could fight the King of Fate. Now that I've sealed the King of Fate, I've obtained what I wanted, and you've gained control of 5/6 of the Infinity Gate. We've both taken what we need. Now, let's go our separate ways and wait for the final battle. If my guess is correct, the final battle is coming very soon. When that time comes, it will be the moment of life and death between us. Whoosh! As Jiang Li spoke, he waved his hand, causing a huge rift to appear in the depths of the Infinity Gate. He casually walked out of the rift and into the Infinity World. Jiang Xinyue chased after him, but the rift closed, and she didn't dare to enter the Infinity World. She was well aware of how powerful Jiang Li was, and knew that everything that had just happened had been part of his plan. Jiang Li, you win. You've really won this time around. However, I've indeed obtained what I wanted. I've gained control over this place. In fact, I've even obtained 1/5 of the King of Fate's power. If we cultivate together, my strength will rise by another level. Actually, Jiang Li, you missed something. I'll have the support of the entire prison. Jiang Xinyue said, you're treating the Infinity Gate like another entity. You want to elevate it to a higher level, which is a sign of respect. My philosophy is that the Infinity Gate is an inanimate object, and can't be treated as an equal. It's nothing more than a magical treasure. Understand? Magical treasures must be used by me. If not, then they must be destroyed. Theoretically speaking, I'm the one who can surpass the Infinity Gate. And you, Jiang Li, are still stuck in the Infinity Gate, unable to transcend the Infinity World. Only when you don't treat the Infinity World as the Infinity World, can you truly be the Infinity World. If you treat the Infinity World too much, then you're not the Infinity World. What a pity, what a pity. Not many people understand this truth. As she spoke, she sank into a deep, profound silence. Moments later, in the depths of the Infinity Gate, all of the sealed overlords were unsealed. Instantly, their bodies burst into flames, and massive amounts of power flowed through the Infinity Gate. The entire Infinity Gate glowed with light, as if it could illuminate the deepest secrets of the world. Her cultivation rose steadily, reaching a level that no one could imagine. At this time, Jiang Li was already standing in the depths of the infinity world. Looking at the flickering light within the infinity gate, he couldn't help but sigh. Chapter 1053. Fortuitous encounters. All of you have suddenly risen in power in recent years. Each of you has the status of an overlord. You have also become the mainstay of our infinite world. Jiang Li looked at the many team leaders present and said, although our infinite team controls the infinite world now, if you develop and work for the welfare of the people in the infinite world, then you can also control the highest leadership of the infinite world. Our infinite team will then retreat. However, you still have selfishness in your hearts. You won't have the spirit to constantly contribute to the infinite world. Therefore, it will be very difficult for you to cultivate to the highest level. You won't even be recognized by the infinite world's origin. Hearing Jiang Li's words, all the team leaders had unnatural expressions on their faces. That's right, they all had ambitions, but they didn't have the resolve to sacrifice themselves for the infinite world. In particular, some of the leaders were still connected to the King of Fate. Some even wanted to borrow the King of Fate's strength to overthrow the infinite world's rule. In the infinite world, the people were still very united. However, overlords and team leaders who were too powerful were different. With great power came great demons in their hearts. Naturally, endless tribulations and ambitions would be born. Ha ha ha! At this time, although the King of Fate was sealed, he could still speak. He laughed crazily. Jiang Li, are you thinking of sacrificing me? How can there be such a good thing? Let me tell you, your subordinates are all in cahoots with me. They are conspiring to overthrow your rule. As long as I say the word, they will come and attack you. Is that so? Jiang Li's tone was indifferent. Do you think I don't know? Actually, I can see it clearly. It's fine for people to have selfishness. The scariest thing is to turn selfishness into action. Everyone, I am here now. Although I have been sealed by Jiang Li, this is also my plan. I can come out at any time. I am here to test you. Do you dare to take the gamble? Attack Jiang Li and kill him together. I will give you more fortuitous encounters. The King of Fate laughed. If you don't dare to take the gamble, I will take back my fate and fortuitous encounters. I will beat you back to your original state. Do you understand? The leaders present didn't dare to move. They were afraid that what the King of Fate said was false. You don't believe me? The King of Fate laughed coldly. Since that's the case, I'll show you my power. What's the name of the person from the mysterious sky team? Xianji? If I remember correctly, you obtained the Mystic Heaven's Divine Halberd, which is an overlord with millions of reincarnations. I was the one who instructed you to obtain an opportunity from him. Right now, the Mystic Heaven's Divine Halberd is still in your body, right? Since you don't believe me, I will take away your fortuitous encounter. What I can give you, I can naturally take back. Take it away. The King of Fate shouted, deprive. A large halberd appeared on the body of one of the leaders of the mysterious heaven team. This halberd seemed to have the power to sweep through the world, the might of the 9 prefectures, as well as an unparalleled, decadent sound. Puff! The leader of Xianji was a man, about 30 years old. He looked dignified, and with a single glance, one could tell that he was a dignified person. His subordinates were all supreme experts, and their team were all elite. But now, with just a single sentence from the King of Fate, the greatest secret in his body flew out, as though it was going to break through the sky. Not only that, he also spat out a mouthful of blood. His entire body was dispirited, and 99% of his strength had dissipated. He was extremely terrified. King of Fate, I was nurtured by you. Why are you doing this to me? The man Xianji leaped and jumped, but he couldn't break free at all. In short, quickly attack Jiang Li, and your strength will return. This Xianji is an example. All those who are fated with me will have their strength taken away by me. If you attack Jiangli, your fortuitous encounters will increase. The voice of the King of Fate seemed to have a kind of magical power. Kill. That Xianji made his move, and he made his move towards Jiangli. Because just now, Jiangli didn't help him, but watched coldly from the sidelines, letting him make his own choice. Of course, he couldn't put his future on Jiangli's shoulders. And among all the team leaders present, those who colluded with the King of Fate were ready to make a move. They knew that this opportunity couldn't be missed, and that the King of Fate was their boss. As for Jiangli, he was just a target to be seized. Almost all the team leaders wanted to defeat Jiangli, obtain the control of the limitless world, and then control the limitless gate and achieve hegemony. Bang! Just as Xianji made his move to attack Jiangli, sure enough, the halberd once again obeyed his orders. His strength recovered to the peak of his peak, and it was even closer to a level, obtaining even more power from the halberd. Woo woo woo, his hand was like a demonic god, and his chi was like a sharp blade, wanting to cut Jiangli in half in the air. However, before his attack could reach Jiangli, the judgment had already arrived. According to the law, attacking the leader is a heinous crime. All power will be taken away, and you will be sent to hell to be reincarnated for eternity. The moment the voice resounded, Xianji's entire body stopped in the air. Then, his halberd flew out once again, and all the power was extracted, and then it shattered into runes, fusing with the source of the limitless world. He became an ordinary person, and his soul was sent to hell to begin reincarnation. In the first life, he became a grass bandit, but he was caught by the government, paraded through the streets, and then executed by 1,000 cuts. In the second life, he became an imperial scholar, and after much difficulty, he obtained a scholarly title, but was framed for cheating and was disqualified. When he returned home, he was ridiculed, his wife was snatched away, and his son was beaten to death. He was completely disheartened, and committed suicide by hanging himself. In the third life, he became a palace eunuch, and because he occasionally said something wrong, he was beaten to death by the emperor. In the fourth life, he was even more miserable. He was born with a disability, and could not practice martial arts. He was born in a big family and was humiliated every day. His parents died of anger because of him, and in the end, his property was taken away by his clansmen, and even his fiancée broke off the engagement. He wanted to take revenge, but was caught by his enemies, and was tortured to death. He had no chance at all. Just like that, in the lightning, he had completed tens of reincarnations. Every reincarnation was extremely painful, and he suffered the most miserable things in the world. Moreover, he had no way to extricate himself. 10,000 reincarnations. All the leaders stopped. They were high and mighty, and they could see through all kinds of torture in the depths of hell, and they immediately shuddered. They did not dare to make a move. Moreover, this Xianji had taught them a lesson. Besieging Jiangli was useless, and the only outcome was death. Don't be afraid, quickly besiege him. If you all attack together, you can definitely tear the limitless world apart. The King of Fate said again, otherwise all of you will lose your power and become weak people like before. Can you bear it? Bang bang bang, just as he spoke, those fortuitous encounters were affected by his words again, and all of their fortuitous encounters were forced out, and they all lost their power. Kill. Finally, another overlord could not bear the pain of losing his power, and attacked Jiangli. As expected, as he attacked, his power returned. However, his outcome was the same as Xianji's. Before his attack could reach Jiangli, all of his power was taken away, and he was sent into reincarnation. This way, none of the overlords dared to make a move, even those who had lost their power. Although these leaders had lost their power, they did not want to fall into reincarnation. That would be a fate worse than death, and they might as well just die. Humph! At this moment, a leader said to the King of Fate, "If I become an ordinary person, so be it. King of Fate, I once believed your words, and obtaining fortuitous encounters was not bad. Now I have returned them to you, and we do not owe each other anything. I can cultivate my power back step by step. Very good. Only then did Jiangli nod his head. Congratulations, you've broken free from the shackles of fate. Your strength will not disappear. Instead, it will become even more stable because you've expelled your inner demons. Once you have a deeper understanding of fate, you'll realize that fate is actually an insignificant thing. Gotcha. The moment he said this, all of his power returned, and there was the sound of ice breaking in his body. As expected, his cultivation improved by another level. King of Fate, thank you for consolidating the hearts of the people for me. The leaders of these teams originally had their own selfish motives, but after your actions, they completely understood what fate really is, and what infinity is. Only by completely sacrificing oneself for infinity can one cultivate a supreme divine ability. Our infinite world is a whole, and everyone is a cell in this whole. If we prosper, and if we suffer, we suffer. This is an iron law and truth, Jiangli said to the King of Fate. This was the reason why he gathered all the leaders here today. He wanted to let the King of Fate threaten them and get rid of the scourge. He also wanted to teach them a lesson. When he saw that all the leaders had comprehended something, he knew that the tempering this time was successful, and the hearts of the people had to be tempered. Only then would they be able to remove all impurities and reach an invulnerable realm. After this matter, the hearts of the leaders became more united. Jiangli saw that the hearts and fate of the people in the entire infinity world had changed. They all depended on the plans of the King of Fate. How did this happen? The King of Fate didn't dare to believe it. King of Fate, next, I will indeed sacrifice you. I will sacrifice you to myself to sublimate infinity and form a brand new door of infinity. That Jiang Xinyue obtained the door of infinity. Although it has existed since ancient times, it is a fake door. I will create the real door and make that fake door lose its luster. I will use all the fate in the world to create the real door. You should be proud to be able to participate in such a grand plan. Jiang Li was breaking the old and creating the new. If Jiang Xinyue wanted to be conservative, then let her be. No. The King of Fate said, you will not succeed. You will not sacrifice me at all. After I die, fate will still exist, and somewhere else, a brand new King of Fate will be formed. Chapter 1054. The King of Fate wasn't afraid of death. He was truly immortal. After he was killed, no one would be able to capture fate. Fate would form a new king in a place that no one knew. It was like a country. If the emperor died, no matter how the dynasty changed, there would always be an emperor. Although the new King of Fate might not be the current King of Fate, it was certain that he would inherit the hatred of the previous King of Fate and attack Jiangli crazily. Jiangli, after I die, a new King of Fate will be born. He will be stronger than me because you killed me. This is fate. Anything that happens will be fated, and the power of fate will be strengthened. Things are constantly developing, and the power of fate is constantly strengthening. Every time the King of Fate dies, the new King of Fate will be several times stronger than the previous one. The masked King of Fate wasn't afraid of death. Do you think I don't know this? Jiangli smiled. It can be said that I am the person who understands fate the most. Furthermore, I won't kill you. I'll just bring you into the system of the boundless world. You'll be in control of your own fate and destiny. Only then will the boundless world be truly complete. You won't die if I sacrifice you. Look, even Jiang Nalan and the two people who attacked me just now didn't die, did they? They just entered the cycle of reincarnation. I will still give you a chance. Choose to cultivate the infinite world. From now on, you will be responsible for protecting the infinite world. How about it? Your sins are very heavy, and you will also fall into the cycle of reincarnation. Wishful thinking. The King of Fate laughed. Jiang Li, I can't enter the cycle of reincarnation because reincarnation can't accommodate me. Other than that, if I want to die, no one can stop me. Jiang Li, if you want me to submit to you, that's just wishful thinking. Oh? If you want to die, then die. Jiang Li was unmoved. After you die, a new King of Fate will be born. That will be even better. I will kill him and let him give birth to a stronger one. I'll kill all the way until this prison collapses. I want to see how many Fate Kings I can give birth to. Go ahead and commit suicide, Why didn't you kill yourself? Jiang Li was mocking the King of Fate. You. Of course, the King of Fate would not commit suicide. He was so angered by Jiang Li that he almost vomited blood. He had never been humiliated like this before. All right, a scholar prefers death to humiliation. Jiang Li stopped laughing. King of Fate, since you aren't willing to bow down to infinity, then I can only deprive you of your power and temporarily take over fate, making myself the new King of Fate. As for you, you will be in hell, going through reincarnation again and again. You aren't human, so you shouldn't have entered reincarnation. But now I will turn you into a real human. Once you enter reincarnation, I will instill humanity into you step by step. You will have kinship, love, joy, anger, sorrow, and joy. Gradually, through life and death, you will become a human, and a human will know what infinity is and what unity is. Don't worry, your reincarnation will be very exciting. It won't be as miserable as Jiang Nalan and those two earlier. Jiang Li, do you really want to fight to the death with me? The King of Fate's expression changed. He knew that Jiang Li really wanted to send him into reincarnation. This was something he couldn't accept. Fight to the death? Jiang Li sighed. King of Fate, you think too highly of yourself. You are just a fish on the chopping board, waiting to be slaughtered by me at any time. My strength is something you can't imagine. You have always been underestimating me. Let's die together. The King of Fate didn't have any more thoughts. In an instant, a strong death aura erupted from his body. He really wanted to kill himself. He was determined not to be humiliated. Imprison. Jiang Li was long prepared. His hands formed a complicated seal, changing repeatedly. Instantly, a huge imprisoned force was imbued onto the King of Fate, causing him to be unable to move. In fact, he couldn't even circulate his cultivation base and control his fate. Infinite imprison, infinite seal, infinite deprivation, infinite purge, infinite judgment. Jiang Li circled the seal and roamed around, striking out the ultimate moves of the infinite godly fist. These ultimate moves were all to suppress the King of Fate, to strip away his life core mystic arts. The King of Fate screamed in pain, fighting to the death. Jiang Li, I won't submit. If I want to die, do you think you can stop me? Fate Nirvana. The death aura on the King of Fate's body became thicker and thicker, about to explode at any moment. Infinite extract. When Jiang Li punched out again, and a divine hole appeared on the King of Fate's head. The divine hole absorbed slightly, absorbing the death aura cleanly. This way, the King of Fate wouldn't be able to die even if he wanted to. This is a good chance, I have to grab it. The King of Fate was as fierce as the strongest beast, suddenly exploding and breaking the seal. Jiang Li, do you really think I will commit suicide? The King of Fate can't die. If you extract my death aura, you will fall into my trap. The death aura is reserved for you, explode. As expected, the deathly aura suddenly exploded, releasing waves of divine lightning. It actually blasted apart Jiang Li's divine cavern, and then it attacked Jiang Li's body. The King of Fate jumped out and began his counterattack. Jiang Li. When the King of Fate counterattacked, he laughed proudly, releasing his strength to his heart's content. I overestimated you. That's right, you lost the infinity door, and your strength is greatly reduced, but you can't suppress me. Very good, very good. After I kill you and absorb your strength, I will find that Jiang Xinyu to settle the score. I will let this woman die in humiliation. However, his laughter came to an abrupt halt, because he found that he was still trapped in a room with mirrors on all four sides. Rumble. All of his previous attacks were reflected back at him. It was as if he had used all of his strength to attack himself. Wah! The King of Fate spat out a mouthful of blood. He knew that he had been tricked. Infinity confusion. Jiang Li's voice rang out. Infinity reflection. How about these two infinity divine fists? Limitless is limitless. It is definitely not something fate can contend against. Fate King, you must remember this. Now that I have bewitched you and made you think that you have broken the seal, in reality, you are still in the seal. In the end, you will use your strongest attack to deal with yourself, saving me a lot of effort. The blood you spat out is an ancient treasure, purer than the blood of any overlord. It has already fused with the limitless world. I can create a brand new Fate King to compete with you for the throne. Jiang Li, you are despicable. The King of Fate's masked youth grimaced in pain. You should go to hell, deprivation. Jiang Li's large hand reached into the room that was filled with mirrors on all four sides and fiercely grabbed downwards. Facing the boundless pressure, the King of Fate almost knelt down. Bang! His body erupted once again, and he unleashed his strongest counterattack. But it was useless. This time, Jiang Li focused all of his strength to suppress him. Kneel. Jiang Li's voice rang out with authority. Finally, the King of Fate could not take it anymore and knelt down in humiliation. He was on the verge of fainting. Who was he? He was a supreme overlord who controlled the fate of heaven and earth. Even the ancient beasts and millions of reincarnations feared him. Even the primal chaos, eternity, and the mysterious castle couldn't do anything to him. He had roamed the world unhindered for countless years, and had always done as he pleased. How could he have imagined that he would be humiliated and forced to kneel today? This kneel shattered all of his confidence. An inner demon appeared in his heart. When countless flowers appeared between heaven and earth, sprinkling down and descending, everywhere was filled with unfathomable true essence. These flowers landed on the King of Fate's body, and immediately intoxicated him. Then, a trace of his soul flew out and entered Hell's reincarnation, leaving behind a huge body. His body wasn't a physical body, but the strongest essence of fate. It represented the control of fate, just like the imperial jade seal that represented destiny in ancient times. Whoever obtained this imperial jade seal would be the true son of heaven, and he would have unparalleled summoning power. Now that Jiang Li had obtained the body of the King of Fate, he could naturally summon fate. Moreover, the King of Fate was only training in reincarnation and didn't die. Jiang Li really didn't want to kill the King of Fate, but he wanted to turn him into a real person. Only in reincarnation, after thousands of lives, would one know the joys and sorrows, joy and anger, love and hate, and have the 7 emotions and 6 desires. Only then would one be human. As expected, the King of Fate entered reincarnation and began to reincarnate. In his first life, he was a young hero. He trained hard in martial arts, had a fortuitous encounter, eradicated demons, and fell in love with many heroines. After experiencing many love affairs, he went into seclusion and laughed proudly in the pugilistic world. This was a good outcome, and he enjoyed life and love. Then, in his second reincarnation, he came to the modern world. He was a student and he started to have his first love, but they broke up because of various reasons. After entering society, he got together with another woman, and then met his first love again, and many love stories were played out. In his third reincarnation, he was already in the immortal cultivation era. He was a domineering celestial lord, but he fell in love with the daughter of the devil sex leader, and was not tolerated by the world. In the end, for love, he killed the world. In his fourth reincarnation, he was a great scholar who cared about the world. The country was destroyed, and the mountains and rivers were still there. He led the remaining troops to resist the foreign enemies, but in the end, he was captured by the enemy. He was tempted many times, and he would rather die than submit. In the end, he died cursing the enemy, and his heroic spirit filled the universe, leaving his name in history. In his fourth reincarnation, he was a person of the pugilistic world. He was entrusted with a promise, and he assassinated the king. In the Golden Palace, he was stabbed hundreds of times, but he did not fall. In the last attack, he died together with the king, and he became the role model of assassins. In every reincarnation, he experienced love, loyalty, benevolence, filial piety, righteousness, bravery, chastity, and many other lives. His life did not have any negative energy, and it was all about the heroic deeds of a great man. The experience of each reincarnation was deeply engraved in the depths of his soul, and gradually, it tempered him into a real person. Chapter 1055. This method is indeed amazing. Using reincarnation to inject human nature and slowly change his potential. Sooner or later, he will be converted to infinity. Flood Darkness Prison watched as the King of Fate fell into the cycle of reincarnation. Every time he reincarnated, his spirit would be devouring the mountains and rivers, he would be loyal and righteous, he would be loyal and righteous, he would be benevolent and benevolent. 1 or 2 reincarnations were nothing, but after dozens of reincarnations, the King of Fate's soul would gradually develop benevolence, righteousness, bravery, and love. This was the wonder of reincarnation. It allowed one to experience all kinds of experiences, cultivate the soul, change the mind, and eliminate karma. Miraculous, truly miraculous. With such a cycle, the King of Fate would change his way of thinking and become one of us. The experiences he experienced in the cycle of reincarnation would be unforgettable. The love and hatred of each lifetime would be deeply engraved in his heart. He would protect this world and love the common people. He has boundless courage and loyalty. Dream Paper Yuan Luofeng was also watching. She was moved by the experiences of each lifetime. Right? Why doesn't Jiang Nailan let him reincarnate like this and make him a great hero, a great knight, and a great saint? This way, he can also change his mind. Luo Feng said curiously. No. He represents destruction, cruelty, viciousness, selfishness, greed, gluttony, and countless other negative emotions. If we were to transform him into a great calamity or a great hero, it would instead consume the destiny of our world. We might as well add fuel to the fire, and let his hatred deepen until it reaches the limit and become our motivation. As the saying goes, when the extreme of misfortune turns to bliss, when the extreme of yin is born, when the extreme of yin is born, when the extreme of yang is born, when the extreme is stripped away, it will be restored. All the negative emotions in our boundless world will be absorbed by him. At that time, he will truly give birth to a peerless demon that we can use. At the very last moment, this peerless demon will undergo a transformation and become our motivation. Moreover, it will be the most primitive motivation. I see. Everyone nodded. Look, Jiang Nailan's hatred and the heroic spirit of the King of Fate are entangled. Hua Ludao trembled and pointed at the depths of the huge hell. There were all kinds of changes. Everyone turned to look at him. Immediately, they saw that the resentment produced by Jiang Nailan's every reincarnation was entangled with the King of Fate's benevolence and righteousness. They fought with each other, as if yin and yang were entangled at the beginning of the world, and light and darkness were fighting against each other. Good, very good. Jiang Li's heart skipped a beat when he saw this scene. If that's the case, then I'll bring the reincarnations of the King of Fate and Jiang Nailan together. They'll become the nemesis of each other. He made a grabbing motion with his palm, and the samsara immediately changed again. In that reincarnation, Jiang Nalan and the Fate King were reincarnated into the same world. In the beginning, Jiang Nalan was reincarnated as a prince, and the Fate King was a general under him. The prince took a fancy to the Fate King's wife, so he schemed against the Fate King, snatched his wife, and destroyed his family. However, the Fate King managed to escape. He trained hard to take revenge, and killed his way back. In the end, he killed the prince and destroyed his country. In the following life, the two of them were brothers, but the King of Fate's aptitude was better and had the upper hand in every aspect of cultivation. Hence, Jiang Nalan was extremely jealous and poisoned the King of Fate, crippling his martial arts. However, the Fate King had a fortuitous encounter. Not only did he regain all his cultivation, but he even improved to the next level. In the end, he imprisoned Jiang Nalan, causing him to lose his reputation. What happened next was that the two of them were one positive and one negative in every life. Jiang Nalan would always reincarnate as a demon, and the Fate King would always be the positive character. The two of them fought with each other, but in the end, the Fate King would always emerge victorious. Justice would definitely prevail over evil. As time passed, Jiang Li saw that Jiang Nalan's evil intent was getting stronger and stronger. His resentment was almost overwhelming, but the depths of his heart was getting weaker and weaker, almost to the point of hysteria. Meanwhile, the Fate King's good intent was getting stronger and stronger. He was invincible in the world, and even started to fill the infinite world with good karma. As expected, the two of them studied each other and improved. It's like two peerless flying swords rubbing against each other, sharpening their sharpness. Jiang Li said, "In this case, the crystal wall of our infinite world will probably be indestructible. In essence, it has already surpassed chaos, eternity, and mysterious castle. In fact, after a few transformations, it might even be comparable to or even surpass the Infinity Gate." Right, what should we do with the body of the Fate King? At this time, Luo Feng saw that the huge body of the Fate King was still on the altar. This was the most important thing. "I'll integrate him into the infinite world." Jiang Li said, "It's time to sacrifice. Sacrifice yourself to make up for the flaws of the infinite world. At that time, we can truly seize control of the Infinity Gate." To Jiang Li, the body of the Fate King was like heaven's will. Our cultivation base will also improve qualitatively. Everyone laughed. The changes in the infinite world this time could be said to be a true rebirth. As long as one absorbed the body of the Fate King, it would be equivalent to controlling all the fate in the world. Even chaos, eternity, Infinity Gate, mysterious castle, and many other overlords would be able to control them. Other than that, all kinds of miraculous encounters would come one after another, gathering in the infinite world. Almost everyone would be able to reach a higher realm and have great miraculous encounters. This was because the Fate King was also known as the King of Miraculous Encounters. Whoever could get his guidance would be able to obtain great miraculous encounters. Sacrifice. Jiang Li activated his infinite divine fist, and his body split into several, revolving around the body of the King of Fate. Each body wrote the word, sacrifice, and these sacrifice words coordinated with each other, drilling into this body. After that, cracks appeared on the body of the Fate King. The cracks were very beautiful and exquisite. In the end, countless auras appeared and started to dissolve. Fate's sacrifice, infinite sacrifice, harmony of the world, mutual affinity. Jiang Li's body emitted raging flames, burning the body. As the saying went, if the raging flames burned the body, it would be reborn. That body finally couldn't withstand Jiang Li's refinement and sacrifice. Its entire body was in a state of collapse. The essence in the deepest core of the Fate King seeped into the infinite river bit by bit. The infinite world reached a critical point. Suddenly it shook. The crystal wall of the infinite world started to undergo a fundamental change. Like a celestial maiden scattering flowers, endless lines of fate burst forth. These lines involved the entire prison and countless overlords, vaguely forming a heavenly net. As the saying went, the heavenly net has a wide net, but it doesn't let anything escape. Fate was something even more terrifying than the heavenly net. It covered everything, and even immortals, Buddhas, gods, and devils couldn't escape. Even if one reached a realm like the primal chaos, they couldn't escape the shackles of fate. Now, all of the fate had gathered in the infinite world. The era of miraculous encounters has begun. At this moment, Jiang Li had transformed into the king of miraculous encounters. He could control the miraculous encounters, allowing those who were loyal, brave, and kind to obtain them. Countless powers flew over from the heavens. They were the essence of some of the overlords in the infinite kingdom in the depths of the prison. There were even treasures left behind by the dead overlord. All of them flew over through the control of fate and miraculous encounters. Between heaven and earth, countless treasures appeared. Those treasures landed on the bodies of the loyal. In this way, not only did the overall strength of the infinite world increase, but Jiang Li's strength also reached an unimaginable realm. His body shone brightly as he obtained the vast knowledge of the king of miraculous encounters. Within his body, the river of wisdom surged. Outside his body, the light of wisdom shone so brightly that there wasn't a single trace of darkness. He was the king of wisdom, the king of martial Tao, the king of infinity, the king of magic, the king of divine arts, the king of hope, the king of radiance. He had all the kings in one body. Fate had made him who he was. He had seen through fate. Before him, fate no longer had any secret. He could create fate. With a thought, fate would rise, and with a thought, fate would extinguish. As the saying went, fate arose and extinguished according to one's heart. His heart was the core of fate. Infinite fate extinguished. Within Jiang Li's body, countless lines appeared, connecting with the countless overlords in the prison. With a casual move, he could absorb the power of any overlord. Although I have obtained the power of fate, this power is also a kind of restraint. I have to sever this power, but at the same time I can control it. That way I can truly comprehend the profundities of infinity. Jiang Li understood. As the saying went, walk through a field of flowers, but not a single leaf will touch you. Generally speaking, if one obtained benefits, they would have to bear the responsibility. This world was fair because of fate. If Jiang Li could sever this, it would surpass fate. He would be able to elevate the infinity door. At that time, he would be able to expel Jiang Xinyue's control and plunder the infinity door. That would be as easy as flipping his palm. Sever fate. Wield the sword to sever fate. Jiang Li's body started to explode. With each explosion, a long sword would appear. The long sword would sever the fate on his body, but the lotus roots would be severed, and the threads would be severed. Infinity Sword. Each divine sword was condensed from the power of infinity. They had the ability to sever fate. The sword chi collided with the lines of fate. Bzzz. The threads of fate were severed, and were on the verge of dissipating. However, Jiang Li grabbed them, causing them to tremble. Threads of fate, send them into the infinity door. I will fuse you with the infinity door. That way the infinity door will bear the karma of fate for me. I will be free, and at the same time I will be able to control fate. I will also be able to use the karma of fate to strip Jiang Xinyue of control from the infinity door. Jiang Li grabbed onto the threads of fate and began to knead them together. Soon, he was in the most powerful of states. He controlled fate as he pleased, and gathered all of his cultivation base together to form a sphere. The sphere transformed into a tiny door, which was the true infinity door. He had long since created the true infinity door, whereas Jiang Xinyue's infinity door was a fake one. One was real, one was fake. It was a very subtle combination. Rumble. He sent the threads of fate into the true infinity door, which caused Jiang Xinyue's infinity door to tremble, as though it were being summoned. Not good. Jiang Xinyue, who was in the depths of the infinity door, could sense danger. He wanted Jiang Xinyue to be reincarnated. He would send a wisp of his will into the cycle of reincarnation with Jiang Xinyue. They would be husband and wife for all eternity. This way, after all eternity, they would be able to resolve their grudges. Even the King of Fate could become a loyal and righteous warrior. Jiang Xinyue's hatred could also be resolved. Moreover, this hatred was also a form of motivation. It would be very useful for the advancement of the infinite world. If that's the case, then there's nothing left for us to talk about? We can only fight to the death? Do you really think you have control over the situation? Jiang Xinyue was at an absolute disadvantage, but her tone made it seem like she had the upper hand and could kill Jiang Li at any time. I know. Jiang Li looked at the infinity door, which still contained infinite mysteries. If my guess is correct, there is a mysterious power in the deepest part of the infinity door that surpasses infinity, eternity, chaos, and the mysterious castle. There is only one such thing, and that is the will of the cage itself. I knew I couldn't hide it from you, but you should know how strong the cage itself is. Even you can't touch its limits. You can say that this cage is the only one, and there is no other world outside of it. Breaking the cage is equivalent to self-destruction. I've told you this before. The principles you've comprehended, the things you believe in, are all wrong. We're all on the same boat, drifting in the ocean. If you want to break the boat and achieve transcendence, you're not only courting death, you're also dragging all living beings in the world to their death. You're the most selfish of all existences. Jiang Xinyue's eyes were filled with hatred. I can't refute your logic because I don't know what lies beyond the cage, and whether there is anything there. In fact, I don't even know if breaking the cage will cause all living beings to ascend together, or die together. I can't be sure. Jiang Li nodded in agreement with Jiang Xinyue's words. But do you really think you can survive by protecting the entire cage? That's not the case. You've already sensed that the energy in the cage is gradually drying up. In the end, everything will be deathly still. The various hegemons, the various worlds, and even the infinity door won't exist. You won't even be able to reincarnate. Therefore, we have to fight to the death. We can't just wait for death. Who knows how many years in the future that will happen? Jiang Xinyue said. Perhaps we can find a way to salvage the situation. But you won't live to see that. If that's the case, then there's no need to say anything else. Let me see how strong you and the power of the cage combined are. How strong can you be? Jiang Li's fingers turned into a dragon's claw, and he clawed at Jiang Xinyue. Suddenly, the cries of ghosts and the howls of gods could be heard, and the world turned dark. The world was filled with dark reincarnation. This was the move, infinite reincarnation, the invincible divine fist. In the depths of the divine fist, the boundless profoundness was about to strip away all of Jiang Xinyue's power, and then drag her into the reincarnation cycle with his palm. Come, Jiang Xinyue. Hatred can be dissolved, but hatred cannot support anything in this world. I can let you kill me 10,000 times in the reincarnation cycle to vent your anger. Jiang Li emitted an aura of compassion. He had made up his mind to drag Jiang Xinyue into the reincarnation cycle and use his karma to dissolve her karma. This was a good thing, but Jiang Xinyue would never agree. She wanted to put up a desperate struggle. Break. Limitless tear. At the same time, Jiang Xinyue punched out with her infinite godly fist. It was extremely ancient, and it contained a sense of protection. When she punched out, the whole prison seemed to have a special resonance with her, and it repelled Jiang Li. Jiang Li also felt that after Jiang Xinyue punched out, the entire prison saw him as an enemy, and the infinity started to split. One was his infinity, it could break everything, it could transcend everything, it could surpass everything, it could surpass everything. The other was the ancient infinity, it could protect, it was the conservative infinity. The limitless seemed to be suffering from schizophrenia. Originally, Jiang Li could control all of the limitless. But now, a mysterious power seemed to be forcing him to control his own limitless, and not the original limitless. The limitless was the limitless that Jiang Li had created, and the ancient limitless gate. The division between the old and the new. The new limitless and the old limitless should have been able to fuse together. But now, because of the interference of the mysterious power of the cage, not only did they not fuse together, they actually opposed each other and began to wear each other down. Not bad. Not bad. I've just witnessed the godly power of the ancient prison. In that case, Jiang Xinyue, I'll let you off the hook for now. Jiang Li's limitless reincarnation was destroyed, and instead of continuing to fight, he chose to vanish. It wasn't that he was afraid of the mysterious power of the prison. Rather, he didn't want to endlessly wear each other down. He wanted to obtain the complete limitless. Therefore, he retreated, waiting for his destiny to be fully absorbed, and his cultivation base to reach a higher level. Then, he would come back to capture Jiang Xinyue. He returned to the limitless world. Rumble. At this time, high up in the sky of the limitless world, a brand new limitless gate appeared. From the depths of the gate, light shot out like water, permeating every corner of the limitless world. It wasn't energy, but rather an artistic conception, something that didn't require any energy. Anyone who absorbed this water-like light would have their energy requirements greatly reduced, as though they would be able to vanish into nothingness, be at ease with the heavenly Tao, and be able to fuse yin and yang. That kind of supreme realm did not require energy to survive. It did not exist, nor did it not exist. It did not require energy, nor did it require quantity. Jiang Li did his best to transform the limitless world into a world that didn't require energy. Now, he had some ideas. Although the limitless world had a large reserve of energy, it was rarely used. The limitless world was in its most mysterious state. From a certain point of view, the brand new limitless world had surpassed the limitless gate, becoming the number one. Chaos, eternity, mysterious castle, all of them were inferior to the brand new limitless world. At this moment, the brand new limitless world had already gained control of all energy sources, and had even transcended energy. Next, he would subdue even stronger existences. His first target was chaos. Returning to the depths of the limitless world, Luo Feng and the others said, "What? Jiang Xinyue still can't be subdued? She really received the blessing of the prison's power." "That's right. Of course, I haven't used my full power yet, because my preparations haven't been completed yet. Jiang Li. First, I need to subdue chaos, eternity, and mysterious castle. I need to strengthen the limitless world's power and solidify the King of Fate. Apart from that, I need to cultivate the final profound meaning of infinity, gathering all of my cultivation into a single point and evolving it into a technique that transcends energy. As for Jiang Xinyue, I'll leave her alone for now. If I'm not mistaken, she seems to have become the guardian of the prison. Anyone who dares to break the prison will become her enemy. Because of that, her power has skyrocketed, and her cultivation has definitely surpassed ordinary realms. Even so, I can still subdue her." "Our next target is to subdue chaos?" Dream Kite said excitedly. "After all, we were all born from chaos. When we return and subdue chaos, we'll fuse with the limitless world. Then, we'll find our home and we'll no longer feel lost." Chapter 1057. Even though the infinite world had grasped fate and had even cultivated to a wondrous state that did not require any energy, everyone had more or less begun to transcend energy and gradually cultivated the strongest absolute art. However, because the entire world was equivalent to being stripped from the depths of chaos, there was still one last layer of connection that had not been severed, so subduing chaos had become a top priority. Jiang Li had long deduced this. As long as the infinite world could fuse with chaos, it would be able to cut off all karma and even destroy fate, turning fate into something that did not exist at all, thus reaching a kind of divine, invincible, mysterious, and glorious realm. This was what it meant to return to one's home after a fallen leaf had returned to its roots. Almost everyone supported Jiang Li in attacking chaos. Everyone wanted to obtain chaos and once again evolve their own home. The familiar aura in the depths of chaos was the final home of the soul. How are we going to attack chaos? Attack it from the inside, or directly attack it from the outside? Luo Feng asked. Of course it's a head-on battle. Jiang Li did not even need to think about it. It's meaningless for us to fight on a small scale now. Let's directly confront chaos as the whole of the infinite world, destroy chaos, and appear in front of the infinite world's hegemons with a domineering attitude. Let everyone know that we, the infinite world, are the absolute number one hegemons. From the beginning until now, we humans have been developing in the dark and have never fought with these behemoths head-on. This time, we're going to have an all-out war, showing the passion, loyalty, courage, wisdom, and loyalty of humans. For ourselves, for our home, let's fight together. Jiang Li's decision to start a war against the primal chaos was made after careful consideration. After going through the tribulation of the King of Fate, the hearts of the entire infinite world were once again united. Many of the giants had lost their ambitions, but in fact they had hidden their ambitions and bad karma in their hearts, unable to completely release and eliminate them. However, with the help of this battle with chaos, it was like refining real gold with blazing fire, refining all the impurities in the real gold. In this way, everywhere in the world was harmonious, and there was no longer any barrier. Borrowing the immense pressure of the primal chaos, the boundless world became even purer, no longer having the slightest flaw. This could be said to be perfect, and there was no longer anything that could contend against the boundless world. Apart from that, Jiang Li could also make use of this opportunity to cultivate his divine abilities. Using the pressure of chaos, he could cultivate the power of the King of Fate into supreme essence, and from there, he could elevate the infinity door once again. This way, the old infinity door would have to submit to him, and it would no longer be controlled by Jiang Xinyu and the prison. More importantly, after melting the primal chaos, the limitless world became unprecedentedly powerful. It surpassed the limitless world and reached a whole new level. Alright, let's give it a try. I really want to fight chaos anyway. Hong Heiyu laughed heartily, his battle intent surging. Ever since we created the infinite world, we have never experienced a large-scale battle. Now that it has finally begun, it's really refreshing. I want to see how strong the chaos is, and whether it can compare to our infinite world. What is the fighting style like? I don't know the specific fighting style. After all, we don't have any experience in fighting at this level. Let's just deal with it as it comes. Jiang Li wasn't afraid. Every battle, every attack, and every collision is a kind of elevation for us. Then let's mobilize the people and say that we're going to start a large-scale war? A war of the entire population? Dream Kite was deep in thought. She knew that once the war started, the entire world would probably be shaken, so they had to prepare well. This war will probably shake the limitless world like never before. Jiang Li had already expected this. Endless turmoil will temper the order of the world. If the order collapses in this war, then it won't be a big deal. We can still purge the world and re-establish order. Nirvanic rebirth, like a phoenix bathing in fire. I see. Everyone nodded. Then let's open up the world and approach the limitless world. At the same time, issue the order for everyone to prepare for battle. Everyone, be united, fight without limit. The limitless world began its journey through the endless space. Back then, when the limitless world was ejected from the depths of chaos, there were only a few thousand reincarnations. Now, the limitless world had tens of millions of reincarnations, and this was only the power on the surface. If the hidden power was included, it would probably be comparable to chaos. This was the capital to fight against chaos. Jiang Li subdued the King of Fate, obtained his body, and merged it into the depths of the limitless world's origin. This way, he controlled all the fortuitous encounters, and those fortuitous encounters fused into the limitless world. After countless people obtained the fortuitous encounters, their wings began to grow. Countless people gathered around. When Jiang Li saw that fate had been issued, the entire world was in an uproar. Everyone could sense the will of heaven issued by the highest leader in the depths of their hearts. Now that the limitless world was highly developed, everything relied on telepathy. When the higher-ups issued an order, as long as it moved, the countless living beings in the world would be able to sense it. There was no need for any media to promote it, nor was there any need for the higher-ups to convey their intentions. Order was highly concentrated. Ordinary people would also directly use telepathy to pray to the limitless world, and the limitless world would naturally reflect it. This was equivalent to ordinary people praying to the heavens, and they would definitely receive a response from the heavens. The limitless world had immense computing power, operational power, and the ability to control order. With the limitless world, there was almost no need for government agencies or officials. The limitless world had replaced everything. The limitless world was the highest leader, which meant that everyone could communicate with the highest leader without the need for a middleman. Without officials, there would be no corruption. Everyone would be equal, and the will of heaven would decide everything. Order and rules would rule over everything. Such a world could be said to be pure and transparent, without any ill feelings. Moreover, the moment the limitless world communicated with all living beings, it would be able to distinguish between good and evil. Although it would not punish living beings based on good or evil, as long as one did something that violated the order, they would immediately receive the corresponding punishment. As the saying went, God is 3 feet above your head. Under such circumstances, there were naturally some people who obtained fortuitous encounters and were able to deceive the limitless world and perform some small tricks, such as the King of Fate and many other people who had fortuitous encounters. Now, Jiang Li's cultivation was completely different. He had devoured the King of Fate, and no one could deceive the limitless world anymore. All the subtle changes would be reflected in the limitless world. The limitless world was also his clone. His incarnation had become the will of heaven, the heavenly axiom, monitoring everything. All living beings, even the mood changes of an ant, were completely under his control. Even the reactions of bacteria, particles, and energy were operating without any difference. He had truly achieved the taste of limitless world. Under such circumstances, he naturally dared to declare war against chaos, because there was no longer any situation that could cause chaos within the limitless world. What? Finally, we're going to declare war against chaos. This is going to be a huge scene. After receiving the order, some team leaders keenly sensed that their opportunity had come. Zhu Nianxing was communicating with other team leaders. Zhao Hongyan, what's the plan of your Hongyan team? Declaring war against chaos is inevitable. This time, I can feel that some people will fall, and some will rise to the top in a single step, Zhu Nianxing said. Opposite him was a woman with a frosty expression. She was dressed in a classic palace dress and had the elegance of an immortal. Her cultivation had actually reached the realm of 100 reincarnations. From this, one could see that she was an overlord among the overlords. At this moment, Zhu Nianxing's realm had also greatly improved. His cultivation had actually reached above 100 reincarnations. From this, one could see that this person was also the condensation of great fortune. It was unknown what kind of fortuitous encounter he had. That's right. The woman, Zhao Hongyan, said, "This is an unprecedented change. It's even possible that the Limitless team won't be able to control the limitless world. This is the time for a change of dynasties. Chaos is not to be trifled with, especially when even if chaos is defeated, there are still other existences, such as the eternal, the mysterious castle, and the true essence of that prison. Other than that, there are still many variables existing in this world." "Then what do we do?" Zhu Nianxing asked. "Very simple. Fight against chaos and obtain power. Right now, we are connected to the limitless world. Parts of us can't be separated. Even if the entire limitless team dies in battle, we can take over the power and continue to fight." Zhao Hongyan's voice was like metal, without any emotions. "We can only do that. After all, the limitless team is already with us." Actually, Zhu Nianxing's mindset had changed. His thoughts of establishing his own faction had also disappeared. However, his thoughts of leading the team to become the leader of the limitless world had not changed. In truth, Jiang Li also encouraged his subordinates to do the same. He didn't want to be a lifeless world where he ruled alone. If someone could really surpass him, that would also be a form of motivation. A world without motivation was a boring world, and it was also a world that was about to be destroyed. Boom! Just as the countless overlords were conversing, the limitless world had already flown near the primal chaos ancient land. The limitless world that had stopped near the primal chaos ancient land suddenly spun and condensed a bright light. This bright light was extremely ferocious, and when it condensed slightly, it shot out like a cannonball. This was a calamity. This was the limitless calamity. Cannon of calamity. The bright light cannon bombarded the surface of the primal chaos. Instantly, an intense tremor occurred and light shot out in all directions. The outer shell of the primal chaos was abnormally sturdy. The dense runes on it formed a vortex that absorbed the power of the bombardment. However, the attack of the limitless world seemed to be endless. After an unknown period of time, the color of the primal chaos changed, and it started to sparkle. It was as if the energy of the limitless world had been fully absorbed. "Break for me!" Jiang Li grabbed with his 5 fingers and then clenched his fist. Instantly, a huge explosion occurred in the depths of the primal chaos. Chapter 1058. The chaos inside began to explode. This meant that the chaos could not withstand the power of the infinite world. But Jiang Li did not look happy at all. He had used up too much power to break through the defenses of the chaos. The infinite world was a little weak now. Fortunately, its foundation was not damaged. It could still fight. Buzz, sure enough, there was a change in the depths of the chaos. Vast amounts of primal chaos energy poured out, and in the blink of an eye, it expanded to 10 times its original size. Everyone in the boundless world felt their vision go black as they watched the entire world being sucked into the ancient energy, devoured by the might of primal chaos. Now, the entire infinite world had been swallowed into the chaos. This was a common move of the chaos. "Everyone, get ready!" Jiang Li immediately ordered. "This is the moment of life and death. We've been swallowed by the chaos. It's trying to destroy and digest our entire world, but it's useless. But the chaos might have more tricks up its sleeves. Everyone, be careful." Just as he finished speaking, a lot of black air seeped through the crystal walls of the infinite world. After circulating for a bit, they turned into many emissaries of annihilation. Kill. Countless emissaries of annihilation appeared in the infinite world. They appeared in every corner, every city, and every continent. Killing intent filled the air. Almost everyone was attacked by the emissaries of annihilation. Damn it! How did these emissaries of annihilation penetrate the crystal walls of the infinite world? Isn't our crystal walls impervious to all evil and unbreakable? Many team leaders and higher-ups roared and began to fight. There were no weaklings in the infinite world. Everyone had extraordinary cultivation. Naturally, they would not be afraid of the invasion of the emissaries of annihilation. They would not be caught off guard. In fact, everyone was prepared to fight the chaos. Some were even prepared to sacrifice themselves. So when the emissaries of annihilation invaded, although everyone was shouting and cursing, they did not panic. Instead, they began to kill. Blood filled the air and death energy filled the air. In the blink of an eye, the invading emissaries of annihilation were almost completely wiped out, while the people in the infinite world were almost unharmed. After killing the emissaries of annihilation, many people in the infinite world used their magic power to absorb their power and obtain stronger cultivation. Rumble! Suddenly, the entire infinite world shook. A castle fiercely crashed into the infinite world, causing a huge crack to appear on the world. It's the mysterious castle hiding in the chaos. It's attacking us. Dream Kite's hair stood on end. It's normal. This is within my expectations. There are many things that are coveting our infinite world, and the mysterious castle is just one of them. After I devoured the Fate King, the infinite world will become the target of the mysterious castle. Naturally, he will come to kill me. If it's just to deal with chaos, I won't have to go through so much trouble. Jiangli, however, this is the best opportunity to temper our infinite world. After this tempering, the infinite world will truly be able to sublimate. Voila! Just as Jiangli finished speaking, a huge hand appeared from the crack in the infinite world. This huge hand covered the sky and covered the sun. It was black and white on the left and right like the taiji. The beginning rose and fell, crushing everything. The slightest tremble could shatter mountains and rivers, and the wind swept away the clouds. The heavens sang in all directions, and it caused the collapse of the entire infinite world. The target of this giant hand was Jiangli. It pressed down from above. It was going to crush Jiangli to death. Ha ha ha! Jiangli laughed maniacally. Yuanshi, you've finally made your move. Good, very good. I've been waiting for you. From you, I can peek into the highest secret in the depths of the prison. Both Jiang Xinyue and you have become the emissaries of the prison, or rather, the guardians. But Jiang Xinyue is stronger than you, because she controls the Infinity Gate. You're just relying on the castle, but the castle doesn't listen to your commands at all. At this time, you still dare to provoke me. You're practically courting death. Yuanshi and Jiang Xinyue were the same kind of people. They were all guardians of the prison and had received the blessing and protection of the prison's will. It had also given them great benefits, which was why they were able to cultivate to their current level. In addition, the prison had also given them extremely powerful magic treasures, the Infinity Gate and the mysterious castle. Unfortunately, whether it was Jiang Xinyue's Infinity Gate or Yuanshi's mysterious castle, they both had major flaws. Compared to Jiang Xinyue, Yuanshi was weaker. After all, the Infinity Gate was much stronger than the mysterious castle. More importantly, the mysterious castle wouldn't listen to Yuanshi's commands. The two were on equal footing. Yuanshi thought that Jiangli would take the risk to attack the primal chaos, which would give him an opportunity to take advantage of. Attacking suddenly was suicide. Infinity Break. Jiangli made his move. Facing the suppression of the gigantic hand, he simply waved his hand gently and countered. His Infinity Fist technique was instantly at its strongest level. With all sorts of breaks, he split Yuanshi's gigantic hand apart. Then, with a finger, the finger light traversed through the endless space and time, striking at Yuanshi's real body. At this moment, Yuanshi was in the mysterious castle, thinking that he was protected and could attack and kill to his heart's content. He wanted to kill Jiangli, as well as the many experts in the Infinity World, and destroy the infinity world. Unfortunately, after Jiang Li had destroyed his attack, that finger had pierced through the defenses of the mysterious castle and struck the space between his eyebrows. Humph! A beam of light appeared from the depths of his forehead. This beam of light had the majesty to suppress the heavens and earth, and it immediately blocked Jiang Li's finger light. You think you can stop me with this? Infinity break! Jiang Li's finger power surged, and with a bang, the finger light became indistinct, as though it didn't exist at all. All of a sudden, it transformed, snaking out like a snake, and actually appeared at the back of Yuanshir's head, wanting to pierce through it. Not good! Yuanshir hadn't expected that Jiang Li's cultivation base would reach such a level. Even so, it would still be difficult for him to kill him. With a loud roar, a halo of light appeared behind his head, shining with a myriad of colors. Numerous vortexes appeared on the halo, and those vortexes wanted to suck in Jiang Li's finger light. Invincible light, primordial god, yin-yang transformation, king of vortexes. Yuanshir's immense will erupted. Jiang Li, I am an invincible god. This is my absolute defense, and you will never be able to break through it. The only thing that awaits you is death. Infinity bind. Jiang Li's finger changed again, and in an instant, the finger light spun unceasingly, like a divine serpent or a divine dragon coiling around each other. In the blink of an eye, it wrapped around Yuanshir inch by inch, causing him to turn into a huge cocoon. This was sealing him up. Boom! He was sealed up. Yuanshir knew that things weren't good. Jiang Li's cultivation base far surpassed his, and now that they were fighting, Jiang Li was just toying with him. The intertwining finger light transformed into infinity bind, infinity bind, infinity bind, infinity bind. Yuanshir couldn't block it at all. How can you be so strong? The primordial heavenly king's entire body began to burn. He gathered all of his cultivation at one point in an attempt to burn away Jiang Li's bindings and escape himself. Unfortunately, the burning flames on his body could not do anything to Jiang Li. He would be sealed immediately. Then, Jiang Li acted like he was fishing. His fingers were like fishing rods as he pulled primordial heavenly king out of the mysterious castle and into the infinite world. He was right in front of Jiang Li. How could this be happening? Yuanshir roared. Wan Xiang, save me! Wan Xiang was the name of the mysterious castle. Naturally, the mysterious castle couldn't just sit back and watch as Yuanshir was captured and fished out like a fish. The mysterious castle suddenly shrank down, and a pitch-black beam of light shot out from the depths of the castle, slamming into Yuanshir's seal. How could it be so simple? Did you think that absorbing the King of Fate was a fake? The King of Fate is stronger than all of you. Even you, mysterious castle. Although you are stronger than the King of Fate, in terms of intrinsic quality, you are many times weaker than him. You are not even as strong as the Infinity Gate, but the King of Fate is the strongest enemy of the Infinity Gate. In fact, he is even stronger than the King of Infinity. Only my brand new Infinity can suppress the King of Fate. Now that I have fused with the King of Fate, my strength has increased by another level, and my cultivation base has reached the highest realm. Jiang Li made a grasping motion with his left hand, causing a vortex to appear that sucked in the pitch-black beam of light, preventing it from reaching Yuanshir. Even the mysterious castle wasn't a match for Jiang Li. Kill! The mysterious castle unleashed its strongest cultivation base, and the pitch-black beam of light transformed into a longsword that appeared in the infinity bind. It wasn't aimed at Jiang Li, but rather at all the living beings in the area. It knew that with Jiang Li's current cultivation base, no matter what sword techniques he used, they wouldn't be able to hurt him. Therefore, it wanted to destroy all the living beings in the area. Given the strength and cultivation base of the mysterious castle, no one would be able to defend against its sword techniques. Shing, everything in the world exploded. The entire world was filled with killing intent. If Jiang Li didn't save them, all the weak beings in the depths of the infinity bind would be wiped out. But it was a pity that the mysterious castle had underestimated Jiang Li's cultivation base. Jiang Li spun slightly and activated his gaze. The infinity bind wriggled, as though it was giving rise to a powerful binding and cohesive force. In an instant, the world changed as an inescapable net appeared everywhere, intercepting those sword technique. In the end, they condensed into a small sword. This small sword was then executed by Jiang Li with the infinite transference technique. The small sword pierced deep into Yuancher's body. Initially, when Yuancher was sealed, there was a mysterious power within his body. Jiang Li couldn't do anything to him at all. However, he made use of the mysterious castle's attack and transferred it over. This was equivalent to the full force of the mysterious castle striking Yuancher instead. Yuancher's body was pierced by the sword. Instantly, his essence spirit dissipated as he howled out in pain. After such a major event was completed, his strength and the overall strength of the infinite world would increase at least tenfold. Once he truly became the number one overlord in the world, no one would be able to contend against him. Only then could he truly begin to understand the secrets of the prison. In the end, the mysterious prison would still stand in front of Jiang Li. However, everything required the submission of the primordial heavenly king. Jiang Li, your entire world was created by me, and you still want me to submit? That's simply wishful thinking. I won't let you succeed. The energy in Yuancher's body seemed to be stimulated. Although he was completely controlled by Jiang Li, he did not lose his own strength. He still had the capital to fight. Is that so? Since you don't want to submit, I'll strip you of your power and send your soul into the cycle of reincarnation. You'll learn from the King of Fate. As long as you experience millions of reincarnations, you'll be able to train your soul to convert to our infinite world and become one of us. Jiang Li began to strip him. Countless flames appeared in his hands and began to burn. He wanted to strip Yuancher's memories and soul, separating him from his body and strength. Jiang Li, you can't strip my strength. My strength is in the entire prison, and it can't be separated. As long as the prison is not destroyed, my strength will never be lost. Yuancher resisted the flames. Moreover, your attack on the primal chaos this time is really too short-sighted. Right now, the entire infinite world is surrounded by primal chaos, and the crystal wall is about to shatter. You said that you can send me into reincarnation? That's simply a joke. Because once the infinite world collapses, reincarnation will also completely collapse. This time, Jiang Li did not pay attention to Yuancher. He continued to refine and strip. Countless shadows appeared on his body, and they were all in different forms. Some were angry, some were sad, some were happy, some were peaceful, some were destructive, some had a human head and beast body, some were even a plant, and some were swords, knives, forks, axes, spears, and even planets. These were all Jiang Li's forms. Jiang Li's cultivation base had already reached the realm of infinite transformations. His true body could be mountains and rivers, wild beasts, ordinary people, and even planets. This displayed Jiang Li's true capabilities. He wanted to defeat the primordial heavenly king in a single move and strengthen limitless world. Otherwise, primordial chaos wouldn't be able to handle this battle easily. After all, primordial chaos was an ancient overlord, one of the strongest overlords, second only to limitless. Although Jiang Li had gained the upper hand against limitless time and time again, that was because primordial chaos had yet to awaken. And now, it seemed that primal chaos was about to awaken. Once it awakened, it would be even more difficult to deal with it. Therefore, he had to seize this opportunity to seize primal chaos and catch him off guard. Therefore, Jiang Li did not hold back and displayed his divine art. He wanted to strip Yuancher's divine art as soon as possible. Very good, very good. Yuanshi retreated step by step and was almost driven into reincarnation. Finally, he laughed maniacally as if he was about to display his ultimate move. Now that things have come to this, Jiangli, I won't hide it from you anymore. You know why I am here when you attacked Primal Chaos. You know why Primal Chaos was so tolerant of me when I stirred up trouble in the depths of Primal Chaos. Because I am the child of Primal Chaos. My most important identity is the child of Primal Chaos. Now that things have come to this, I won't hide it anymore. Almost instantaneously, endless profoundness emerged from the depths of Primal Chaos. This profoundness was not power, nor was it spirit. It was the foundation of Primal Chaos, the indestructible foundation that had been precipitated for God knows how many years. This thing was almost equivalent to the ultimate profoundness of infinity that Jiangli had discovered. All of the essence of Primal Chaos broke through the void and entered Yuanshi's body. All of a sudden, Jiangli could no longer suppress the primordial Heavenly King. All of the runes collapsed, and the primordial Heavenly King broke through the air. Not only did he recover all of his power, but he also advanced one step further. He faintly fused with the Primal Chaos and erupted with unfathomable power. He is the child of Primal Chaos? Jiangli was secretly shocked. He had no way to let Yuanshi break free. There was no way he could capture him. Yuanshi's identity as the child of Primal Chaos had been hidden so well. It seemed that Yuanshi was quite a character. Initially, Yi Futian thought that he was inferior to Jiang Xinyu. But now, it seemed that he and Jiang Xinyu were on par. It seemed that it would be very difficult to kill this person now. Good. Very good, Yuanshi. I knew that with your profound cultivation base, I wouldn't be able to kill you that easily. Jiangli nodded. Instead of being angry, he was actually delighted. Your identity as the child of Primal Chaos has been revealed, but it was revealed too early. I forced the truth out of you. What a pity. Primal Chaos was supposed to wake up, but because I gave you power and profundities, it's gone into slumber. Now it has fallen into a deep slumber, and its origin has been damaged. Actually, all of this is within my calculations. As he spoke, the Primal Chaos power in the area began to weaken. Boundless vortexes. The 129,600 land masses in the boundless world transformed into vortexes that sucked in Primal Chaos palea energy to increase their own power. The people of the various land masses gathered together, forming spell formations that were connected to the life force of their land masses. The 129,600 continents were equivalent to so many giants cultivating ferociously. They wanted to suck the Primal Chaos dry. The Primal Chaos could no longer seal the vital energy, and it flowed out for thousands of li. Massive amounts of Primal Chaos palea energy flowed into the boundless world, causing the land masses to grow larger and larger. At the same time, Jiang Li's body began to shine with dazzling light, and his aura grew stronger. By himself, he was as strong as all of Primal Chaos as a whole. Although the primordial Heavenly King had escaped, he had used up a lot of Primal Chaos energy. This gave him a chance to absorb large amounts of ancient energy from the Primal Chaos, weakening the power of the Primal Chaos. At the same time, the weakening of the Primal Chaos affected the primordial Heavenly King, the child of Primal Chaos. Although Yuanshi had managed to escape, Jiangli had absorbed too much Primal Chaos palea energy, which was damaging to the essence of Primal Chaos. As a child of Primal Chaos, Jiangli couldn't take it anymore, and coughed up a mouthful of blood. Rumble! Jiangli's large hand grabbed over once more, breaking through the horizon. 5 mountains suppressing rivers and mountains, causing space to continuously shrink and condense once more. It seemed as if it could break through the ages and seize the heavenly Tao's supreme might. His aura surged as he absorbed the power of Primal Chaos palea energy and locked down Heavenly King primordial beginning, leaving him with nowhere to run. Yuanshir's eyes flickered with astonishment. He had assumed that he had escaped, but never could he have guessed that Jiangli would use his status as a child of primal chaos to weaken the primal chaos itself. If Jiangli had absorbed all of the primal chaos palea energy, he would have been like a fish out of water, waiting to be slaughtered. Whales and sharks were invincible in the sea, but if the sea became a mulberry field, they would be stuck in a quagmire, and die a horrible death. Everything comes with a price. If you flee, the primordial chaos will have to pay the price. This is fate and also karma. I am the king of fate, the ruler of fate, so naturally I can control this. Jiang Li's grab caused Heavenly King Primordial beginning to have nowhere to run. Come on out, Eternal, Yuanshir said, resorting to his final trump card. A white-robed woman appeared on the battlefield. All sorts of wills converged to form an inconceivable fist strike that shouldn't even exist in the world. In other words, it was impossible for his punch to appear in the prison. However, under his urging, the fist appeared. His fist enveloped the primal chaos, enveloped eternity, enveloped the primordial Heavenly King, and even enveloped the mysterious castle hidden in the dark. He wanted to capture everything in one fell swoop. This fist could no longer be described with words. It was a fist that had unleashed all of its potential under pressure. It was also a fist that had comprehended the highest laws under devout devotion. It had transformed into a free and unfettered state, and it had been tempered in blood and cruelty. It was peerless in its sharpness. Under the power of this fist, the heavenly Tao swayed like a paper kite in the wind. They interacted with each other and lingered around each other. Any laws collapsed under this fist. Even something as powerful as the mysterious castle let out a horrified roar. Crack! The fist strike and the Eternal's palm strike slammed into each other, and the Eternal's palm strike melted like a snowman under the scorching sun. The Eternal's fist strike was destroyed, and she staggered backward. However, the power of Jiang Li's fist strike had already entered her body, causing her defensive shields to shatter. Her veil was shredded, revealing a peerlessly beautiful woman who looked like a celestial maiden from a painting. There was no woman in the world more beautiful than her, and no woman more pure than her. Not even Dream Kite, Luo Feng, or even Jiang Xinyue could compare to the Eternal. Eternal's temperament was like that of an unchanging stone statue. She never had the slightest expression on her face, and it was impossible for her to give people peace. However, each and every one of her actions could give people all sorts of beautiful hopes and dreams of eternal life. Generations of cultivators, hegemons, and even primal chaos had pursued the Eternal. Their will had been blessed by the Eternal, making her even more powerful. Theoretically speaking, the Eternal was not human, but rather a manifestation of her will. Primal chaos was the manifestation of the will of all the vital energies that existed before the creation of heaven and earth. The manifestation of boundless will was the manifestation of all possibilities, and the manifestation of the Eternal was the manifestation of longevity, deathlessness, and indestructibility. As long as a living being possessed such a will, it would be equivalent to giving power to the other party. That was what Jiangli had grasped. Because of that, he was able to unleash a fist strike that shouldn't even exist in the world. The fist strike shattered the Eternal's veil, revealing her true appearance, and giving him the opportunity to defeat her. Roar! Mysterious Castellan's body transformed into human form. This time, he didn't assume the appearance of Yuanshir, but rather, his true form. He was a young man clad in pitch-black armor and a pitch-black helmet. His entire body was shrouded in darkness, and even his eyes were pitch-black. However, deep within his pupils, a sharp light could be seen. That light was a will to fight without rest. He punched out to defend against Jiang Li's attack. At the same time, Yuanshi also punched out to defend against the attack. They had no choice but to resist. Just now, Jiang Li's fist had already engulfed all of them, causing all of them to be separated. They were now fighting against Jiang Li alone. He was fighting three powerful experts at once. Mysterious Castellan was the first to fall back, cracks spreading out across his body. He couldn't stand up to the power of Jiang Li's fist strike, and Yuanshi was sent tumbling backward. His eternal body spun rapidly, creating millions upon millions of space-time ripples as it attempted to block Jiang Li's attack. All three of them were sent tumbling backward, injured to varying degrees. "Absorb," Jiang Li said, throwing his hands up into the air to absorb the primal chaos palea energy. Millions upon millions of dragons roared as the primal chaos palea energy transformed into primal chaos dragons that bored into Jiang Li, weakening his primal chaos power. Damn it! As a child of primal chaos, Heaven King Primeval Beginning could sense Jiang Li, and coughed up another mouthful of blood. By this point, he knew that he wasn't a match for Jiang Li, and that the loss of primal chaos palea energy would be fatal. "Let me help you stabilize your primal chaos vital energy," a portal said, flying through the air toward him. The portal glittered with bright light, as though it were shackles that locked down the primal chaos palea energy, ensuring that none of it leaked out. The infinity portal appeared. A person walked out of the portal, and it was none other than Jiang Xinyu. Another young woman. All of the most important figures in the upcoming battle had appeared. Jiang Xinyu, Primal Chaos, Yuanshi, the Eternal Body, and the Mysterious Castellan were all fighting Jiang Li. Everyone knew that if Jiang Li could crush Yuanshi and devour Primal Chaos, no one would be a match for him. Not even the essence of the prison would be able to do anything to him. Therefore, they had to join forces to kill him. Oh! Jiang Li's infinity world continued to expand, and all of the living beings in it were also nearing the end of their battle with the emissary of extermination. As they stabilized their cultivation bases, Jiang Li faced off against 5 powerful experts. "I never would have guessed that you would join forces against me," Jiang Li said. "Very well. The more people you have, the more fighting prowess I'll have. I'm going to send you all to your graves, then absorb you into my infinity world and transcend." "You think it's just the 5 of us?" Only the mysterious castle, although it was an overlord, couldn't compare to the primal chaos, eternal, and infinity gate. Furthermore, it was a loner, so when it came to fighting, the others could only watch, hoping that it and Jiang Li would both be injured, and then take advantage of the situation. Mysterious Castle had turned into a pitch-black armored young man. He was still mysterious and powerful, and his attacks were even stronger than Primal Chaos and Eternal. Of course, his foundation wasn't as strong as Primal Chaos and Eternal. After all, he was a new leader, and there were some things that needed to be settled. Jiang Li could tell that this young man was strong on the outside, but weak on the inside. Although he looked tough and sharp, he didn't have the strength to back it up. Or rather, this overlord had yet to achieve great success and was truly indomitable. He was still a little bit away from being the strongest overlord. Therefore, Jiang Li targeted him. Jiang Li attacked very slowly this time. Punches, palms, and step. It was as if he was taking a stroll, but his aura was completely different. His entire body was filled with killing intent. Tough against tough. Mysterious Castle's Tao was sharp, domineering, and unparalleled. He could fight the heavens, the people, the earth, the ghosts, and the gods. He was invincible. Under this aura, everything would be split apart. But Jiang Li was stronger than him, and he had the will to fight. Unlimited battle. Unlimited kill. Unlimited sharpness. Unlimited slicing. Unlimited shattering. Unlimited destruction. Unlimited bombardment. While attacking, Jiang Li had circulated the unlimited God Fist in his body countless times. As he did so, his hands displayed unimaginable strength. Such strength definitely wasn't something that ordinary people could understand. The power of the pitch-black youth was that of a valiant general who charged and broke through enemy lines. No one could match him. He alone fought for 3,000 li, and with a single sword, he blocked 1,000,000 soldiers. But Jiang Li's power was that of a high and aloof existence. He was omnipotent, and omniscient. One could see how strong the young man was, but they couldn't see how strong Jiang Li was. Just like how many top experts were helpless when facing heaven's will, and in the end, their bones were buried in the ground. Heavens, you knew that he was strong, but you couldn't see him or touch him. He was everywhere, and he affected your fate, but you couldn't resist him. No, it wasn't that you couldn't resist him. It was that you couldn't resist him even if you wanted to. Hong Long. Jiang Li's fist technique slammed into the young man from the mysterious castle. Strength against strength. Toughness against toughness. Brute force against brute force. Brute force against brute force. The reason Yang Qi had chosen to fight the mysterious castle was because the young man was too strong. If he was suppressed, his confidence would be shaken, and he would be easily captured. As for the other hegemons, even if they were defeated, they would still be able to recover. As expected, Jiang Li's infinite divine fist was activated to the highest realm. The instant it collided with the dark youth from the mysterious castle, the dark youth's armor cracked inch by inch. In terms of strength, the dark youth from the mysterious castle was indeed much weaker than Jiang Li. Jiang Li had absorbed the King of Destiny, as well as a significant amount of primal chaos Pali energy. Furthermore, he had suppressed Jiang Nalan, and gained incredible power. After all, Jiang Nalan had been chosen by the necropolis, and should have been paired with Jiang Xinyue. Thanks to Jiang Nalan, Jiang Li had been able to peer into the essence of the necropolis. Combined, the young man from the mysterious castle wasn't a match for him. The young man's energy began to wane, and his confidence was shaken. However, he was a vicious person, and he let out a roar of rage as he tried to regain his composure. I am the god of war of 100 defeats. Every time I lose, my cultivation base will increase by 1 level. Every time I win, my cultivation base will also increase by 1 level. That is why I am invincible. As expected, the mysterious castle of the pitch-black youngster began to rebound. Of course, there was no way Jiang Li would give him that opportunity. What he wanted was for the young man to be defeated, and for his energy to wane. Jiang Li suddenly vanished, transforming into a wisp of green smoke. It was as if he himself had become a sacrifice. This was the most powerful move of the unlimited God Fist, boundless sacrifice. After using it, his cultivation base would rise exponentially, and he would be virtually invincible. Swish! Light shot out from the depths of the boundless void, and the young man from the mysterious castle vanished. The mysterious castle of the pitch-black youth disappeared without a trace in this white light. He was captured by Jiang Li. Ha 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 ha. Jiang Li laughed and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, since so many experts have gathered here today, I won't join in the fun. Wait until I subdue this mysterious castle, then I'll come and find trouble with you." Being able to capture an overlord at the level of the mysterious castle was equivalent to capturing 1,000 overlords, or even more. It was equivalent to capturing an emperor in ancient times, and one would be able to control the princes. Now that he had captured the mysterious castle, he would have to subdue it once he returned. Only after subduing it would his cultivation base improve further. Therefore, Jiang Li did not want to waste any more time here. Even though he had come to conquer chaos this time, and did not achieve his goal, chaos was not something that could be subdued in one go. If he could subdue the mysterious castle and improve his strength, he would have more confidence in subduing chaos next time. As he spoke, his body shrank. Then, the infinite world behind him disappeared as well. We can't let him go. This time, he has taken advantage of us a lot. If we let him subdue Wan Xiang, he will be even more terrifying. Jiang Xinyu screamed. She activated the Infinity Gate, trying to stop Jiangli from absorbing him. At this time, Chaos, Eternal, and Yuanshi made their moves. The three experts reached out and grabbed at the center. Jiang Li's vanished body reappeared. "Oh, Lord of Infinity, you will never be able to escape from us. As long as you are in this prison, you will never be able to escape." Chaos growled. Bang! As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Li's shadow exploded. It was not his true body, but an illusory shadow. The power of the explosion caused Chaos, Eternal, Yuanshi, Jiang Xinyu, and the others to fall back. Finally, Jiang Li disappeared. No one could find his true location. "I can't believe he left." Jiang Xinyu looked around, but couldn't find him. The prison was so huge that it was impossible to search for him. Furthermore, the infinite world could change infinitely. He could become a speck of dust that could be hidden in space-time rift. Even someone with incredible power wouldn't be able to find him. What a pity! What a pity! Yuanshi was very worried. The next time he makes a comeback, it'll be our doomsday. We need to work together to find him. We can't let him refine Wanxiang. "You're connected to Wanxiang, aren't you?" Jiang Xinyu suddenly said, a sinister smile on her face. "If I'm not mistaken, you're using Wanxiang. Jiang Li wants to refine Wanxiang and subdue him. At the most critical moment, he'll be at his weakest. Let's create a grand spell formation, then wait for you to sense Wanxiang. When you die with Jiang Li, we'll appear and clean up the mess." "That's exactly what I'm thinking," the man said. The burly man with the chaotic body said, "Although he has severed his karma, the core of the boundless world is the humans of Earth. It's impossible for everyone to sever their karma. I can use the chaotic spiritual cultivation art to find his location. We can set up a formation and capture him together. Once we kill Jiang Li, we'll be able to get rid of him. Then we'll become the most important people in this prison, and we'll even be able to upgrade it. We'll be able to transcend." Chapter 1062. Jiang Li had benefited greatly from his invasion of primal chaos. First of all, he had absorbed a huge amount of primal chaos palea energy, which had pushed his boundless world to the pinnacle of refinement. Furthermore, he had captured Myriad Mammoths, the jet-black youth from the mysterious castle. Myriad Mammoth had only been sealed, not subjugated. Once Jiang Li subjugated him, he would return to the unbounded world. Then, the unbounded world would undergo the same transformations as when it absorbed King Fate. The dark-skinned young man, Myriad Mammoth, was a person of immense destiny. Otherwise, how could he possibly have reached the level of primal chaos, the eternal and the unbounded world? With such a powerful overlord, once it was suppressed and subdued, how many changes could the boundless river itself produce? Heaven and earth god transformations, void concealment, nowhere to be found, everywhere. Jiang Li drew on the unbounded world, causing it to transform again and again until it was hidden in a place that no one could find. Not even the essence of the convict's cell would be able to find it. After everything was settled, the unbounded world began to unfurl. Everyone on the continent knew what was happening, and went about their own business of cultivation and enlightenment. Everyone had benefited greatly from the battle, and had spent a lot of time solidifying their cultivation bases. Jiang Li finished setting up the altar, and then looked around at the gray space of the unbounded world. The true meaning of indestructibility, undying, undecaying, unmoving, and unmoving had been added to his primal chaos vital energy. Eventually, he would be able to subjugate and seal the burly man's primal chaos. "Come on out, Myriad Mammoth." Waving his sleeve, he tossed out the dark-skinned young man, who was surrounded by a sealing mark. His eyes were wide with rage, and he radiated the desire to do battle. Anyone who looked at him would feel a chill run down their spine, and would back away. Even Myriad Mammoth, who was currently in dire straits, would be intimidated by the young man's cultivation base. Time to die, Zhongli. You've humiliated me like this. I'm going to kill everyone in the unbounded world. I'll make sure you regret ever being born in the first place. The pitch-black youth's mysterious castle's Wanxiang's fury can burn everything, but no matter how hard he struggled, he couldn't break the seal. AI. Jiang Li sighed. Your fist technique has indeed reached a level that can shake heaven and earth, transcend the mortal, and lead the pack. Unfortunately, it's still a far cry from mine. Truth be told, even if you were to join forces with Primal Chaos, Eternity, Jiang Xinyue Yuanshi, and the other hegemons, you still wouldn't stand a chance against me. The fact that I was able to snatch you from their hands is proof of my strength. I'm already the #1 hegemon. The King of Fate's face was filled with pity. Pitiful child, you don't understand. You've been blinded by battle and dignity. Only the unbounded world is the strongest, and that is the truth. Your battle philosophy is nothing more than to defeat one opponent after another to make yourself stronger. But now that I've entered the unbounded world, I'm thousands of times stronger than I was before. I'm not someone you can compare to. Battle isn't the way to become stronger. Only the unbounded world is the strongest. Since you don't believe me, then I'll suppress you and strip you of your fortuitous encounters. Buzz, the King of Fate, attacked. More fortuitous encounter lines appeared on his hand, and as they twisted around, they seeped into the body of the pitch-black youth. The killing intent on Wanxiang's face grew even stronger. Invincible battle will suppress everything. 10,000 weapons appeared behind him. Sabers, spears, swords, halberds, axes, lances, hooks, tridents, sun and moon wheels, pagoda, all of them formed a river that tried to sever the fortuitous encounter lines. But at this moment, a stream of black energy shot out from hell, filled with negative emotions. It slammed into his back, causing him so much pain that he almost teared up. Black energy filled the space between his eyebrows, as though he were about to be possessed. I hate. I want to destroy everything. I want to exterminate everything. Kill. I'm Jiang Nalan. Even if I experience reincarnation, not only will I not repent, my cultivation base will advance, and my resentment and hatred will grow stronger. I want to leave this place. I want to possess you. Wanxiang, give your body to me. Your soul will become my nourishment. It was actually Jiang Nalan. Jiang Nalan had been reincarnated in hell, suffering all sorts of pain. But now, under Jiang Li's guidance, he had recovered his resentment. All that was left of him was the negative energy of the source, the everlasting resentment, which rushed into the pitch-black youth's body. The pitch-black youth, Wanxiang, was trembling all over. He couldn't resist at all. Facing the binding of the King of Fate, coupled with the invasion and possession of Jiang Nalan, he was forced to retreat again and again. Jiang Li didn't make a move. Instead, he looked around. He knew that this pitch-black youth, Wanxiang, was entangled with Yuanshi. When he refined and subdued the pitch-black youth, Wanxiang would definitely join forces to kill him. Thus, he wouldn't make a move. He would secretly cut off the entanglement between Wanxiang and Yuanshi, then use the infinite bewilderment art to create a false impression. Once he subdued the pitch-black youth, and his cultivation base reached the pinnacle, he would set up a grand spell formation to create a false impression that he hadn't refined the pitch-black youth yet. Then, he would let them attack him. Finally, he could wipe them all out in one fell swoop. Right now, the most powerful overlord-level existences were Jiang Xinyue, Primordial Heavenly King, and Eternal. If he could subdue and devour all four of them, then the infinite world would truly dominate the trillions of spacetime. In this prison, there would be no one who could stand up to him. At that time, he would be able to enter the core of the prison and fight with the prison's source. That would be the final moment to break free. Of course, there were still billions and billions of overlords roaming about in the prison. However, after Jiang Li devoured the four great experts, he would be able to subdue all of them. He would be able to form an existence that had never been seen before in the past or the future. Then, he would be able to comprehend the essence of energy, strength, mind, and freedom. However, he also knew that there were probably other experts in the core of the prison, where the essence was. Otherwise, why would Ba Liming and the Kaiser disappear? They were definitely in the core of the essence. With Jiang Li's current cultivation base, he still couldn't touch the secrets of the core of the essence. Of course, this didn't mean that the Kaiser and Ba Liming's cultivation base was higher than his. Instead, he was the variable among the variables. In Jiang Xinyue's words, he was the one who destroyed the entire ship. The others were here to protect the ship. His actions were naturally not tolerated by the ship. Possession. A shrill voice rang out again. Two heads appeared on the neck of the pitch-black youth, Wan Xiang. The other head belonged to Jiang Nailan. Jiang Nailan had actually taken half of Wan Xiang's body in an attempt to return to the human world. At this time, Jiang Li made his move. He stared at Jiang Nailan, and his eyes shone with all sorts of lights. As soon as his eyes met Jiang Nailan's entire body began to burn. His head howled in pain and actually bit down on the pitch-black youth's head, tearing at each other. Jiang Li used boundless confusion. By letting Jiang Nailan and the pitch-black youth fight each other, he would be able to take advantage of the situation. One body and two heads tore at each other, causing blood to drip down. Their souls fought in the body, weakening them greatly. The Kaiser of Fate suddenly turned into the aura of loyal heart of emerald sanguine and burrowed into Wan Xiang's body. Unexpectedly, three heads appeared. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.